Hey guys, we're live. Welcome back to the Flopbuster movie show. Let's do this. We're all excited to talk some Disney movies.
The Christmas presents right by Julian.
Oh, that's fine. We got some cluttered Christmas presents over there, but we want to make sure everybody is on camera for this episode. Very special episode, but as always, we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm Tony. We got Gabe over here.
Gabe. We got Julian guest starring for the
Julian.
first time.
This is our star commenter guest starting for the first time. And then we have Victoria over here. And we're pretty excited. This is a big day.
Yeah, so like you comments like on every live stream, you get to guest star in one of our episodes.
Yep. It's a Patreon tier, and then Julian's also going to wax himself on camera. Victoria's gonna break out the wax, and we're gonna wax his chest. So
oh, okay. All right.
But let's jump right into it. We start off each show by talking about what films we've seen throughout the week, what TV shows.
I've saw nothing but Disney movies all week.
But we haven't talked about Marry Me though, and you saw Marry Me.
I did see Marry Me. I just want to say about Marry Me, it's a classic rom-com.
What up, Adrian?
It is classic rom-com. Jennifer Lopez plays the part perfectly. Owen Wilson's a nice compliment to her. It's
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of my I'm gonna say it's one of my favorite rom-coms so far.
The rom-com's making a comeback.
It is because there was the Charlie Day one, the I Want You Back.
I gotta see that still.
Yeah, that was all right. Marry Me was definitely better.
Do you think the bias is there because of J-Lo?
Of course. J-Lo's on the list.
Have you seen that movie? Have you seen Marry Me?
Not yet. We were supposed to go see it last weekend, but maybe we shouldn't see it.
So Victoria and I, we pretty much watched the same movies. We were going through an entire Disney list. I think we watched over 12 titles.
Yes.
A mixture. It was honestly stuff I've already seen. The two films I am going to mention later on are films I only saw once years ago when they came out. And we'll get to that point. But they definitely felt like first-time watches because I just have small memories of seeing one of them in theaters and the other one on the cable down the line. One film I want to highlight, Jesus Christ. One film I want to highlight is Kimmy. I just saw the new Zoe Kravitz film on HBO Max.
Okay.
This is directed by Steven Soderbergh, and it stars Zoe Kravitz as this shut-in who has agoraphobia, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's agoraphobia.
Cool. And she pretty much listens to little voice messages from this little smart device
It's
called
like an Amazon
Kimmy.
Alexa.
It's like an Alexa or a Google Home. And what happens is she hears a crime being committed, a murder over the I'm real J-Lo and Ja Rule. Oh my God. She hears a crime being committed on this voice communication. And it sends her down this rabbit hole, and there's this whole conspiracy theory. So if you like movies like Rear Window, Disturbia, Panic Room, this is definitely up your alley. It's about 89 minutes long. It's super short, quick to the point, plenty of action and suspense. It's one I enjoyed a lot. It was really, really good.
Yeah. And then you guys have been checking out the Bel Air?
Hell yeah.
Bel
I wanted
Air.
to bring up Bel Air.
We got to bring up Bel Air. Bel Air, I was aware of the show when they did the initial little fake trailer they put on the internet.
Yeah. So the guy puts up a fake trailer to get Will Smith's attention, and he got it. And then Will Smith was like, okay, we got to do this. So that guy that did the fake trailer, he's not one of the producers for this movie.
He is.
Show.
TV show.
Yeah. So he goes absolutely nothing in the trailer just because, and then Will Smith got in and he's like, all right, I like this idea. And they went with that. So
yeah, so the show is pretty much it's a remake of The Fresh Prince,
right? But with a more serious drama. Carlton is such a bitch.
Yes, if you watch the show, Carlton is the biggest scumbag ever. He's this drug addicted little shithead from the
Give me back Alfonso.
Yeah, Alfonso was the best. He did with Carlton.
But Jeffrey is so smooth.
Oh, Jeffrey's like Idris Elba in this.
Right, just like he is smooth. The only issue that I have with Bel Air is the basketball scenes. That guy's jumper is so cringy. It's worse than your jumper.
I got a pretty bad jumper.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's worse than that.
But guess what? My shots go in.
So that they changed like Carlton's character?
Yeah.
He's still the
Barry
same.
Manilow or nothing?
No, he's still smart and stuff, but
He's still smart. He's still whitewashed, but he is just like sniveling, like little, like I don't know, like how to put it.
and
like,
he hates Will.
Conniving.
Yeah,
Conniving,
and what's
yeah.
crazy about the show is it's still a sitcom, but it's just more mature. But they still follow the same beats as the show, and they're even reusing some of the same plot lines, but they're just done in a different lens. Who's Jazz? Jazz is one of the best characters on the
Yeah,
show.
Jazz picks up Will
plays
from the
him, though?
airport.
I don't know the actor's name, but the guy does a really, really good job. They introduced Jazz in the
first
very
episode.
first episode. He owns a record store. He's really hip and cool. Still funny.
He's got a
Still,
bigger personality and character.
yes, he's got a
Yes.
bigger personality.
So, like for some of the side characters from like the '90s show, are like more well-rounded and
Yes.
more
Lisa, for
fleshed
example.
out.
Lisa is in it from season 1. Lisa came in season 5, I believe.
Right. So Lisa's in it. Jazz has a more interesting storyline. I like how they made Hillary a more smarter. She's smarter than she was previously in the
She's
old
a
I
show.
think
character
she's
in
casted as like she's exactly what she would be, like an influencer. Like
Right.
she's exactly how she would
They're
be
gonna do, like,
in the.
Little like cameos from like the old actors.
I hope so.
You know, Victoria thinks that she caught one of the old Aunt Vivs in the background,
Of
and I'm
one of the
curious.
party,
Yeah,
like-
I'm curious if she is in there. I think it would be pretty cool. But what I like about the show is that it's like its own thing. Like you know the characters and they feel the same. Like Will still feels like Will from the original. It's just that they feel more modern now. They feel more like how Gabe was saying, well-rounded, more character-driven. But it's still funny. It still has really funny moments. And by the end of the day, you feel good when you watch it. Like
Right.
when you would watch The Fresh Prince, it feels like a really good family sitcom where you learn a lesson. And it's still all that is here. It's just way more mature. I really like it so far. It's really well done. It's surprising, honestly.
It is. Will still wearing the inside out, school jacket.
They have a whole scene where he turns the jacket inside out.
Right.
It's just like, hey, you remember this? And he's like looking at the jacket. He figures it out. He wears it inside
Oh,
out.
My favorite part is like in the first 2 episodes, he goes, "I got one little fight. My mom got scared."
Oh,
I was
yeah.
Yeah,
like,
so
"You're
they, so like they
stupid."
threw in snippets of the
Okay.
song, so it's really cool. Like I said, it's a really good show, and I haven't seen the new episode that dropped yesterday.
good.
We watched it. It's really good. It might be the best episode yet.
Out of all 5 that are there.
All 4, yeah. They put out the first 3, and then they released. So every Thursday they're gonna have a new episode. And
On Peacock, by the way. So you guys.
one thing I have with the show is, in the show he breaks out the Fresh Prince Jordans.
Yes.
How are they gonna explain that?
Just cause.
Like he has these Jordans, but like where do they come from? Because they're not based off him. That would be super meta. So, but he wears the great Fresh Princes in this. It's a really fantastic show. I really dug it.
Yes.
Next thing I want to mention so far, we had a couple of trailers during the Super Bowl.
Oh man.
Yeah. And we're gonna break down a couple of them. We didn't get as many as I thought we would, but then again, with COVID going on, a lot of movies are pushed back, so we can't expect too much. I want to talk about the new Jordan Peele movie first. Nope. Nope is the new film from Jordan Peele, and up until now, we haven't really heard of like what it's about. We had no idea. After the trailer, I still have no idea what the story is.
Is it about
besides,
horses? Is it about
aliens.
aliens?
It's
Is it
Really
about
like
something?
a science feel.
that's how
Nope,
everybody's
it's something
saying signs.
Well, they said NOPE stands for not of planet Earth.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I've heard that as well.
Smart.
Ooh, fancy.
The imagery looks cool. It looks funny and different, just like his other movies, but it looks like it's going to do something unique again. That's what
Stephen
you can
Young's in
expect from him.
I like Stephen Young.
Yeah, Stephen Young's in the
All right,
trailer,
Glenn.
so it looks really good. I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. I see, there's not too much to talk about other than like it looks visually striking. It looks like nothing he's made before. And that's what you want from Jordan Peele. Every time you see one of his movies, it feels like an event. Like you get excited, no matter what it ends up being, like the hype around Us when everybody went to go see it. It was
Right.
unique. And this feels unique. You know it's going to be a good time. So I'm very much anticipating this movie.
So am I.
think it's going to be good. The following trailer we got, there's definitely some things to talk about here because I feel like this is going to be one of the biggest movies Marvel has ever done.
Doctor Strange.
Biggest.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Bigger than Spider-Man.
I think in terms of what it can mean for the MCU, yes,
More multiverse than Spider-Man.
100%. No, and I think it will. I like your Mickey Mouse shirt, dude. Show that
Thank you.
sucker off.
Thank you.
Oh, my mom said, "Where's your Disney shirt, Julian?"
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is going to be insane.
It is. I'm so hyped up for this movie. Beyond, like, it's a movie that I think it's gonna hit a lot of notes and like the right notes. It looks like. So there, it looks like they're finally gonna introduce mutants to it,
Yes.
and there's a way that they could bring back some of like they could bring back Hugh Jackman's Wolverine for this, and give us a new Wolverine at the same time.
They could.
They could bring back, Charles Xavier, which you hear his voice in the trailer, so you know he's in it. So there's so many new, they could reboot Fantastic Four out of this because they could just bring back some of the old characters and just bring in new, which is awesome.
Four is like the fourth time now, man.
Yeah.
We had the '90s one. We had the Chris Evans one.
Live action. Wait, there was a '90s.
There was
live
the
action?
'90s live action one. It was like really bad, and like you can only find it on bootleg. They made it to keep the rights. That was the whole point. Was they had like 20 days to make the movie.
Fourth time's the charm.
Fourth time's the charm. I have heard something really interesting because this is where fandom kind of gets a little toxic too, which happens anywhere. People
Stop
have
being
been
toxic.
They really should stop being toxic.
Las tóxicas.
Fans have been demanding John Krasinski plays Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards.
Yeah.
I've heard a rumor from a pretty reliable source who called out everything in Spider-Man No Way Home. This is a person that claims to work for Marvel. And they ran down a full plot synopsis 3 months before the movie came out, and they were 120% correct. Everything they called out was 100% the movie. They claimed who the Illuminati is, which is part of the secret society where all the smartest people in the MCU, Charles Xavier, Black Bolt, Namor, Reed Richards, Iron Man. I've heard that John Krasinski is a variant of Reed Richards, but will not be the Reed Richards.
Okay.
Like he will be on the Illuminati console, and that's like the end of it. That's all you will see.
That's that scene in the trailer, right?
Yeah, that will be his little cameo, and then for the actual Fantastic Four, we will have a new Reed Richards for that.
All right, I'm down. Like I said, these movies are what they should be. Just grandiose ideas from the comics.
And what I like is we got the God Sam Raimi, who did the Spider-Man trilogy, the original, the greatest trilogy with the best Peter Parker.
Greatest trilogy.
The best Peter Parker.
Tom McGuire was the best.
No, lies.
But the one
Tom
thing I will say,
Holland is the best Spider-Man.
this isn't true.
It is true. People agree with me. Tom Holland is the
agrees.
best Spider-Man.
Yeah, justice for Tobey Maguire. You like Tobey Maguire.
You know what? Actually, justice for Andrew Garfield. Y'all, everybody forgets about Andrew Garfield.
And not now.
I like
now,
Andrew
now
Garfield.
everybody wants him to
They
have
want
his
his
own
third
movies.
movie. They want him in a movie with Tom Hardy's Venom. I heard.
Yeah.
That's what I heard too. Another rumor I'm
Jessica's on
hearing
here.
is Tom Holland is. Yeah,
Thank you.
She,
See, even your
we knew
girl.
she would say this
I
though.
know,
We've had this
Tom Holland.
conversation.
You know what?
But this looks great, and I love that there's a horror element. It looks like they're going to bring in the Marvel Zombies aspect to it. It's going to be crazy. Doctor Strange, the lore to that character, you could go into so many different aspects.
Listen, at this point with Marvel, Marvel could. I'm not gonna say they can't do no wrong, right? Because obviously they can. But at this point with Marvel, they don't need the Avengers. They don't need Iron Man. There's so many stories that they could pull from. They could do Marvel Secret Wars.
This is
They
true,
could do
yeah,
Marvel Zombies. They could do whatever they want at this point, and nobody really needs an introduction to a Marvel character at this point. I think everybody basically just knows Marvel characters. Marvel, who's in Marvel, who's in DC, whatever the case may be. So Marvel did its job. It like gave knowledge to non-comic book nerds to a point where it's like, okay, I don't need to do introductory movies anymore, and we could just go into like the teeth of the things, just go right into it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think we're all excited. There's one more thing I was going to mention, and I wasn't going to because I was going to wait for you to see this. But I feel like I should at least give my thoughts.
Is that what I think it is?
Because I've been boiling over this for the past few hours after watching it.
Oh, Texas Chainsaw
Oh my
Massacre.
God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So-
man.
Right
No
before,
spoilers.
yeah, I'm not going to spoil the movie. I think you should 100% go see the movie if you're thinking about it. It's on Netflix right now. It's about 81 minutes long, so it's not too long of a sit. It's pretty tight. What I will say is this movie has been riddled with so many issues behind the scenes to make this film happen, and we've received so many subpar sequels to the original film that you'd think they would learn by now. And this isn't the case.
Disrespectful.
I despise this fucking movie.
Wow.
And
You
that's-
don't hate
No,
stuff.
I do not hate.
Like you're
things.
like me. Like
Spies.
you don't hate movies that much. Like if you
I
like take the time to watch a movie, you could find something to like say, okay, this was good about
The
it.
gore is good.
well, yeah,
but-
that's something I will say. Is that
For you to say you despise something,
No,
I
I
feel like
100%
too
did.
they hyped up Sally's coming back, even though it's not the same actress, and they just slap you right in the face with how they deal with it.
Here's what
in
this
my
movie
opinion.
is. There's a couple of things. One, there's this unneeded social commentary on school shootings. They make the main character a school shooting survivor, and it's really bad the way they do it. And it's like in poor taste. Mind you, this movie is 72 minutes before the credits start. So that's an hour and 12 minutes you get.
so that's already a strike against it. I mean, what type of horror movie are you gonna do with like
The
72
one thing I
minutes?
will say is that the gore, the effects, the camera work, everything with Leatherface
He
looks
looks cool.
amazing. He looks cool. This movie does not feel like a sequel to the original. They kept hyping it up for years that
So
we're getting a
underdeveloped.
return to form, that this is a true sequel to the original crazy masterpiece that is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They do not come close to that. There's a couple of scenes that are really cool.
There's no
They make
weight.
fun of millennials. That stuff is fun. But they do a couple of sins in here that are just like big no-nos. And I do not want to break into it. We'll wait until you see it. But I did not like this movie at all. This is one of the worst modern horror films at least big studio horror films I've seen in a while. And it sucks because there's stuff in it. There's things in it that do work.
Most of the characters, like the young cast, are pretty unbearable.
The
They-
cast is so the thing is they're all good actors with the
Mhm.
worst material to
Yeah,
work
that's
with.
that's
These are the
true.
worst
That's
main
true.
characters you're expected to root for. That get their comeuppance in like pretty cool ways, but at the same time, it's just like, why am I watching this? Like who am I
To
supposed
see
to root for?
Leatherface, maybe.
And there's like a couple of cringe-inducing moments that I can't. Again, you got to watch the movie, and like I could literally pause it and show you, like, this is fucking stupid.
Was it better or worse than the Dario?
Better.
Honestly, I think I have a newfound respect for Texas Chainsaw 3D. Do your thing, cuz I think like I maybe
deserve
I had
an
that movie
apology
wrong,
for liking
but I
that
would
movie.
rather watch that movie. At least like it felt developed, regardless of the stupid time jump where they're expecting
She
us to
should be
believe she's
40.
like 40 when she's like 18 or 19. Like the timeline doesn't make sense in that.
I deserve an apology for liking that movie. Thank you.
Another thing is, this isn't a spoiler. He's living outside this little orphanage house in this
In-
little small town that we never heard of before in any of these other movies. They don't show the actual house. It just the whole movie doesn't make sense in my eyes. I didn't like it. I could see,
Feels disrespectful to the original.
but if you go in this
in
for
a way.
no,
that's a
yeah,
spoiler.
for that's how I felt. For me, it felt like a big disrespectful like backhand to everything that is the first
And
movie.
what's the actress's name that played Sally originally?
Oh,
To her specifically.
oh yeah, for I mean that character's in this movie for like literally 2 or 3 scenes. It felt like they were just trying to ape off the whole Laurie Strode thing.
Yeah.
But here it just doesn't work. Like it doesn't make sense. Like if you witness something so terrifying that all your friends get butchered and you like go in a car
Almost
screaming
eaten.
and this dude's still dancing around with a chainsaw, you'll never want to go back there. There's no way in hell you're gonna want to go back there.
Unless you're white.
I don't know, man.
White people do crazy stuff.
Dude, yeah, it's true. White people do crazy stuff. I mean,
White people.
white people.
White people gonna white.
I thought this movie was fucking bad, and maybe I'll lose my horror card for saying that. I think if you like carnage and you like gore, you're gonna like this. Believe me, I like that stuff too. But
yeah,
I
whoever
feel
did
like
the makeup will have to look.
Yeah, bravo
They did
to
crazy.
the special
I'll look
effects
that up.
team, the cinematography is top notch. I feel bad for the cast because they're giving it their all, but they have nothing to work with.
Because that main actress who we ended up, I don't like her character at all. She's a good. She was in Happy Death Day too. I don't remember her name right now, but
And
She's
the
good.
other who plays her sister, I think her name's
her name's like Maisie or something. isn't
yeah,
it?
I forget what her name is, but she was in 8th grade. She was great in that. Overall,
Elsie
I did not
Fisher.
like this movie. It's like I think I gave it like a 1 out of 5.
Sarah
on Letterboxd or
Yankin and
something.
Elsie Fisher are the two main.
Yeah,
main
Esley Fisher. She's a
characters.
great actress. Again, the movie looks good. It's just not good. It's just not good.
Yeah.
It's 70 minutes that feel like a slog, and by the time you get to the ending, you just want it to be over. I will say the very last shot is really cool.
Yeah.
Don't want to spoil it. I don't want to like.
I'm pretty
Tarnish
sure
everything,
it's
but-
the same ending now Texas Chainsaw Massacres have.
Almost.
I'll just say like go ahead and I guess I'm giving it a recommendation. Check it out and make up your own opinion.
On
But
Netflix.
I fucking did not like this movie.
It felt longer than 73 minutes.
No, it did feel longer. By the end, I paused. I'm like, this movie's like an hour and 10 minutes long. It's like the shortest slasher movie at that level. And to think a big studio made this, and they said, well, we don't want this movie. We're just going to give it to Netflix. And Netflix said, all right, we'll take it.
Well, I mean, that's how everybody knew it was going to be bad, right?
Yeah. Test
There is
screenings
a
were
really
terrible.
cool scene in there that's like a massacre, I guess. Texas.
Yeah,
Chainsaw
there is a
Massacre.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the movie.
It does happen.
It does happen.
You know, for the longest, I thought Texas Chainsaw Massacre was like real in a sense because my mom growing up, she would always say, "Oh yeah, it really happened in Texas. Were like making chili out of humans," and like.
But you would think that watching the first movie too, because it looks like a documentary.
So
It looks real and raw, and like you're fucking freaked out by
Well,
the
don't
end.
they say based on true events?
They do in the film. They
But
say
it's like
a true story.
at the end, it's like he's based off like 2 or 3 different like real people, but it's
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 different ones.
I thought Amityville Horror was real, but I guess it's just some dude that just killed his family. You know?
It wasn't Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yeah,
Deadpool killed his family.
Deadpool killed his family. Oh, that's part 2. DeMaio, that dude did kill his
There's
family.
another reboot with Bella Thorne in it too.
Oh, I heard
That was another
one.
movie that sat on a shelf forever, and then they released it on like
Isn't it like
VOD.
Amityville Haunting or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just in the shelf probably.
Aren't you a big Bella Thorne fan?
You're putting him on the spot. You're putting him on the spot with Jessica.
No, but
He's
overall,
not.
I thought, for as many knocks as people gave Halloween Kills, me included for
Y'all
some of the
take
things.
all that shit back.
Ah man, you know what? I could tell that movie's made with a lot of love. This movie,
So I've been on the interwebs and there's people that have praised this movie and people that have said it sucks, right? But I saw a couple people say it was better than Scream, the new Scream.
Ooh.
Scream 2022. Maybe I'm biased because I love the Scream movies, and I think the new one is like
I don't even
pretty much
know.
perfect
Fair.
in my eyes. But man, that's in a different level. That's a movie that feels like it's done with care and character
Fans
development,
made that movie.
made by people who love the franchise. I mean, this movie just like felt like we don't really like.
It was just trying to keep
Here's
the rights.
Leatherface. Here's Sally. Have fun.
Here's Sally, or a person playing Sally that's not the actual
That's not
actress.
Sally.
Yeah, like
Was Jack in it too? Jack and Sally.
Oh my god.
Jack and Joe.
overall,
Adam Sandler was in it. Jack and Joe.
Jack and Jill. That's a good movie.
I don't think those time jump movies work for horror movies. Like they did like Jeepers Creepers was like a time jump.
Oh,
That
Jeepers
movie
Creepers
was
3 was so
Jeepers.
bad. Have you
um,
seen Jeepers Creepers 3?
I think I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen
That's
all
all
of it.
bad.
Evil Dies Tonight.
Evil dies
It
tonight.
does.
Do it like Tommy. See it right now.
Evil dies tonight. Go
Um,
get him, Tommy.
I don't know. I just wanted to get that out the way. I didn't mean to rant, but I
Come down,
didn't-
Big
My
John.
dad said you were going on.
No,
Dude, I just found out that Little John was the dude from those skits. Like, look what I can do.
yeah. He's in a bunch of stuff. He's a really good comedian. He's in The Righteous
I was gonna
Gemstone.
say, yeah, Righteous
Um,
Gemstone.
Well, anyway, let's get down to the actual show. Let's get down to what we
Are you
came
sure?
to talk about.
We can talk about Disney.
We came to talk about Disney,
Disney animated movies.
regardless of how dark the show has started right now.
We're like 23 minutes in, and we gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah, everybody wants to talk about Disney.
Disney.
People were just like checked out as soon as I got on the Texas Chainsaw rant.
Not that Disney.
But we have a list. I know you've seen a lot.
I saw
Julian
that.
knows a lot of these off memory.
So do I.
Me too.
There was I basically saw the movies that I didn't see. So there was an era in my life where I graduated from grammar school and I went to high school and I was like, I'm too cool for Disney animated movies. I ain't watching these anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's like the era that like I missed. I'm now at the age where I
What
don't
year was
really
that?
care. So I graduated high school in 2001.
Okay.
So from like 97 to like maybe 05, I thought it was too cool for Disney cartoons. So I was like, I'm not watching none of these.
Mhm.
And so I watched a lot of them that were in that time frame. Plus a couple classics, like a Goofy movie.
We watched that one yesterday.
Yeah, we watched a Goofy movie because you were begging us to.
I was.
seen that
'cause
And I've seen it a bunch. I was like, okay, I'll just rewatch it again.
You had to get the Goofy movie just fresh in your
Just for
mind.
Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore, Powerline.
Powerline.
Caroline's
I like
iconic.
I just feel bad for Goofy. His fucking son's a little fucking prick.
Max is a prick.
Max is a
In
prick.
all these movies, he's a prick, man.
All right, so we're starting off, I guess, with the Goofy movie.
Let's start off with a Goofy
I think it's
movie,
in here.
which, yeah, we actually do have.
So, all right, So with a Goofy movie, right? Like I said, I want to talk about Powerline, right? Because Powerline's supposed to be like this cool artist, right?
He's like MC Hammer or
Right.
something.
Michael
And his
Jackson.
son loves
Prince.
Prince.
Yeah, his son loves Powerline, but they look exactly the same as Goofy. Like you wouldn't like notice, be like, "Oh, hey, Dad, you look like my favorite artist of all time. You guys look exactly alike."
Do you have a theory that they're the same person?
Well, no, because you see them together on the screen. You see them. You see them.
Powerline was a little darker. He was like Hispanic a little bit.
Was he Bad Bunny?
You think Powerline's
Bad
Hispanic?
Bunny?
Maybe
he was Bad Bunny
Oh, he was
before
a
Bad
dark
Bunny.
color.
they should reboot it and Bad Bunny could play Powerline.
Holy shit.
Reggaeton star in Powerline. But the soundtrack to that movie was really good too.
Oh, they have Lizzo in the globe. they have that girl dancing in the globe. That could be Lizzo.
Fuck. But yeah, this is a nostalgic one because I used to watch on not even Saturday mornings. Every morning they had Toon Disney growing up
Right.
in the early 2000s, and they would show the Timon and Pumbaa show, Darkwing Duck, and Goof Troop.
House of
Chippendale,
Mouse.
yeah, House of
House of
Mouse,
Mouse is
Chippendale
so
Rescue
good.
Rangers.
Which they're rebooting.
Yeah, which they are
Chippendale.
rebooting.
Yeah.
And Goof Troop was one of them, and that was a great show. This is the basis for that show, pretty much, followed by extremely goofy movie. And this is just like a really warm, really just like fun watch. Like, there's not much stakes. It's just about Goofy and Max, just rekindling that bond as kids. And I don't know, like it's just a fun watch.
It was a really fun watch. It was I don't know, it was just like you said, it was nostalgic. It came out in 1995. So it was
They were coming off Lion King.
yeah, they were coming off Lion King. So I mean, like for me when I was doing all this stuff, right? Disney is basically into like 3 different eras, right? There's like the pre-Renaissance, which was like Cinderella, Snow White, Winnie the Pooh. And then they went into like what the Renaissance, I guess they're like their best time period, which was like 89 or 88.
It's about 80, I would say 87 until
Which was the
99.
First one was it like Beauty and the Beast that brought them
I
back?
think it was Little Mermaid.
Little
Because they
Mermaid
had
was before Beauty and the Beast.
they had a string of movies in the
Beauty and the
70s.
Beast is like 92, I think.
Let's do I'm pretty sure Little Mermaid is 87 or 88. But
I don't think so.
I mean, I could be wrong. But I know in the 70s and 80s, there was a time where these movies were not making anything.
Right.
They were like, what the fuck are we going to do? Because none
Right.
of our movies are really
So then,
doing
and then
well.
after that, they went into the
Oh, wow. Little Mermaid's 89.
1989 for
Okay.
Little Mermaid. So yeah, in 89 we can say.
89. So then they went, then and they had the post Renaissance. So after, so after all these hits, they started not doing as good, but it was their own doing because Pixar came into the mix, and Pixar was just out.
They were on another
doing-
level.
Yeah, they were out on another level, outdoing what Disney animation could do. So, but that's how we're gonna get started, I guess. A little history on that. So what did we'll start off with Julian.
Oh, I got a list of all these movies that.
What's a movie?
What's a movie?
What's the
Just-
one that you just like,
What's
man? I
what's
really
the one
gotta
you're
talk about
most anticipated to talk about?
Man, Peter Pan.
Oh, no, I didn't watch that one.
Peter Pan.
I know this one
Peter
off
Pan.
memory, so I could talk about Peter Pan.
And
The Boy Wonder.
It was from watching the cartoon they were growing up, and then other live actions. But I know we're talking about animation, but the animation for me was probably the one movie I watched. VCR,
VCH.
VCH.
whatever. I had that movie and
You had the
I
Betamax.
put on. Also, dinosaurs.
Oh, we were going to watch that
Damn,
one.
that was the one that I
Disney
forgot
I
to
used to
rewatch.
rewatch that.
That's
intro
one
of
that you were
movie
like obsessed
so
with.
much.
I had puppets they give out from
McDonald's.
Yep.
McDonald's.
I had those.
I watched that movie.
I
was
rewatched the
growing up.
beginning of Dinosaurs so many times. We did that ride, right?
We did
Yeah,
do
we
the
did.
Dinosaurs Ride, which was awesome. It was great.
Animal Kingdom.
Peter Pan's a really underrated one. I think it gets overshadowed by like people talking about like the Native American stuff in that movie.
Yeah.
They get pissed
Yeah.
off about. But if you put that aside and just see it from the lens of a child, it's such a wonderful film, and like it really wraps you up in the imagination. They also did a sequel that was pretty good called Return to Neverland, and he meets Wendy's daughter. And I remember seeing that one in theaters with my mom, and I really enjoy that one too. Those 2 films I feel like are super under talked about, but I feel like it's mostly because he gets so much recognition with other live action iterations like Hook or the 2003 movie. I haven't seen the other one,
There was
things
a
like
musical that came out recently.
with Hugh Jackman, right?
Pan.
The
Pan.
It was
Pan,
like
that
a
one.
woman played Peter Pan. I forget her name. But anyways,
That was a little boy.
whatever.
Oh, you're talking about the musical, like the stage
musical, the
musical.
stage
Oh,
That was a one.
That was like live action.
That was
they
a-
always
on
have
like.
a girl playing Peter Pan in musicals.
I think they
It's
always
a
did.
girl.
But there is a theory, though. There is a theory about Hook and Peter Pan.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard about this?
That it's his dad.
No,
Okay.
that Hook, that the bad, that the
daddy?
actual bad person in this movie is Peter Pan.
I have
And
heard this
Hook
theory.
is actually the good guy. Hook is trying to save these kids from Peter Pan because Peter Pan's going in and kidnapping them and bringing them to this island.
Well, it's true. He is kidnapping them. And he's like, I don't want you to leave. It's like Stockholm syndrome.
All the pirates are like the other lost boys that grew up and they became pirates on Captain Hook's side. And
You got and they're all trying to save these kids
That's
from
fucked up.
it. So like the Lost Boys are like trying. That's why they're like always trying to go after them and trying to capture them. It's because they're trying to save them and trying to like bring them home.
That's a good theory.
So Captain Hook is a good guy.
True. It's based on a true story.
Don't trust the guy wearing tights. I guess that's what
You wearing
can say.
tights there?
You wearing
No,
long
Peter
johns?
Pan wore his tights.
Yeah, I know.
He's got his own peanut butter.
It's not that good.
Yeah, I don't really like it.
Wait, Peter Pan peanut butter?
Peter Pan peanut butter.
Peter, yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's a pick for you? What's one that you're thinking of?
Me? Oh man, should we get into Treasure Planet?
You know what we should, because we mentioned that Disney had a bit of a fall off, and this is the movie that kind of took them off
So-
the map.
I don't think it was okay. So there was I wrote it down here. So it was a little bit of a fall off, right? But it was still nominated for Best Animated Movie for an Oscar. But it was a failure because it only made 110 million.
On a $150 million budget.
Yeah.
Right. So at the time, it was the most expensive traditionally animated film of all time at the time of its release. So yeah, I mean, only making 110 out of 150, it was a bomb. But I mean, it's a beautiful movie. Like it
has some of the best animation Disney's
Right.
ever done.
You know, and they try to do something like a new genre of like sci-fi mixed in with like
It's steampunk.
right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't know, it's like a mix of like I don't know, sci-fi with Indiana Jones. You know, it's like
Yeah.
a treasure
It's
map
this-
story.
Yeah,
and-
it's swashbuckling and like there's great animation. They even use some CGI in there, and they actually use actual. It looked like real, like they had birds floating around. I'm like, that looks like real birds. And like they were combining different forms of animation,
Right.
but the whole movie's very vibrant and colorful,
It
and the
is.
action's really well done.
And the main character goes from being a bad guy to like at the end being, a really good stand-up character. And you could tell because at the beginning of the movie, he's wearing a black shirt. And for all Disney movies, whenever you're like a good guy or whatever, they're wearing white shirts. And at the end of the movie, he comes in with a white shirt. So
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
yeah, so
Oh,
all
you're talking about Jim. When Jim, he joined the academy.
When he joined the
Yeah,
academy,
yeah.
he's wearing a
Not
white
just
shirt.
It's a nice little academy outfit.
But like at the beginning, he's wearing a black shirt. He looks like,
He's a little badass. He's got
Little
one earring.
right.
I watched Treasure Planet for the first time,
It was my first watch too.
and I guess I enjoyed it because it wasn't a musical. It was.
It's not, yeah, it's
It's
like-
not a musical. Maybe that's why I did so bad.
So maybe this is why they came into this law, right? Though, because it was, and we could talk about it later, but Atlantis and Treasure Planet and a lot of these movies that came out, like Meet the Robinsons,
That's a good one.
they
I love
didn't
that one.
have any musicals in it. So, like in the Renaissance era, there was all the Little Mermaid, Pocahontas, Mulan, whatever, yada yada. They all had musical numbers, like big production musical numbers, and then post Renaissance, like no musical numbers. Like that's it. We're not singing our numbers.
Another thing, Treasure Planet is like there's a lot of great character works and memorable characters because I saw it once, but I distinctly remember like all the big set pieces in it, and this is my first time seeing it in at least like 15 or 16 years. And everything works in this movie. I was like shocked how much like it holds up because I think its reputation of it's the movie that got the animation division shut down. It is like really like if you think about that and don't give the movie a chance, like I don't know, you're missing out on some of the best animation they've ever done. The characters are really cool, but it's also one of the most violent Disney movies too. I would put this Tarzan and Atlantis, which I'm going to bring up, as
I
some of
have
the
an
most
issue with
violent
Tarzan.
films. You have an issue with Tarzan?
I do.
We'll get
have
to
an issue.
Tarzan.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a problem.
What's wrong with you?
But
Gabe?
I know. I feel like everybody on this table is going to turn
We're
on me.
about to have a
man.
fat problem.
Sorry, I have an
But-
issue with Tarzan.
Treasure Planet is a strong
Treasure Planet,
recommendation.
yes.
It is awesome. It holds up. It stands the test of time. I don't know. It wasn't in 4K on Disney, but it looked like it was. It
Oh, it
really
looked
did.
really good.
It looked amazing on there.
It looked like watercolor background.
It
and
did,
stuff.
yeah. Cool. So, what's a movie you want to throw on there?
Let's start the conversation about Tarzan.
Oh boy.
I
Because
guess, yeah.
this is
let's
probably
do it.
my favorite Disney movie of all time. I have You'll Be in My Heart tattooed. This is the hardest Disney soundtrack of all time.
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins went
He was his
in
bag.
the studio.
Not just Phil Collins, but NSYNC also.
Oh yeah, they did do a version. It's sick.
They did
Can't
that whole
forget
group
them.
song.
Trash in the Camp.
Trash.
They did. I probably destroyed this tape. I probably had 2 or 3 copies and destroyed every single one from how many times I would play it. I ran out the
We're gonna have to
cassette
talk
tape.
to your parents to see if that's true.
Yeah, it is. They could probably.
They could
my
probably
dad could
confirm it.
My dad would probably text me in like 2 seconds here. I ran out the cassette tape every day in the car in the back of my Jeep. I'd be like, Tarzan, Tarzan, Tarzan. This shit had me crying instantly when we put it on yesterday. Nothing had happened yet, and I cried. I think it's so good. It's so sad, but it's so good. It's just a
I
classic.
love it. And
It's
you
got Glenn Close, Minnie Driver, Rosie O'Donnell, who.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Rose,
Yeah.
Rose is the best. Nobody talking shit. about Rose.
What's his? Who plays Tarzan? Oh my God, what's his name again?
Oh,
Tarzan.
Tony Goldwyn.
Yep, Tony
Yeah.
Goldwyn is Tarzan. It's just good. It's like one of their best movies, I think.
I think it's one of their best animated, like looking like one of their best, like
Oh,
most
yeah, with
beautiful
him-
looking films.
Him
like,
going like getting across his vine.
Yeah.
That 3D.
the action was fantastic. You know, another thing is just like when you see some of these movies, it just brings back like this rush of memories.
This
I
is
remember
Tarzan.
like the video game for Game Boy Color and like all like the McDonald's stuff, all these
Screw that
things.
game.
It's just like that game was hard, man.
That
That game was fucking stupid hard for some reason.
There's a scene
Just
in
good
this,
memories.
which spoiler alert, I haven't seen it, but I mean that's on you. He like lifts up the dead jaguar, and I used to do that with my cats, up like this, and do the Tarzan noise. That one specifically.
I'm dying to know what your
Yeah,
issue
what's
is
the
with
beef?
movie. Yeah,
What's the
I'm
beef?
just
Let's get
thinking
into
about
it.
that.
Listen, you guys want to give some love to Tarzan? I'm letting you guys give on to Tarzan.
He's ready,
love
just waiting.
before
I have nothing else
I'm
to.
just
I mean,
waiting.
what else is there to be said? It's one of the best looking animated.
It's one of
films,
the only
best
ones
written.
where it does have a live action. Disney hasn't done their live action version of it yet, which I would really like to see. They've got the Alexander Skarsgård one, but
They did the Jungle to Jungle.
Fuck that movie. That's not a fucking Tarzan
I don't know
movie.
that one.
Let's start there.
It's this
It's
movie.
Tarzan.
It's this
It's
movie
Tim
where
Allen.
Tim Allen's son grows up in Africa or something.
Yeah,
and
the
he's like-
jungle,
yeah,
like
he's-
Tarzan. He talks to the animals.
He's not because he's more Americanized than that.
Hey,
No, they did a live action Tarzan.
With Alexander Skarsgård.
George of the Jungle.
George
Oh
of
my
the Jungle,
God.
I guess. It's George of the Jungle.
It's Tarzan.
It pretty much is Tarzan.
Yeah, it's Tarzan.
They even have like how Tarzan is supposed to go back with Jane to
England.
London, England. I mean,
it's pretty much
In George of the Jungle, he goes back with Leslie
I
Mann
was gonna
to
say,
wherever it is they were from. I forgot.
I have something to
Was
say.
it London? I don't know.
I don't think London.
Something I never realized until yesterday, and I don't know why, is that like, yeah, they're showing him speaking English to the gorillas, but then when he gets with Jane, I'm like, well, why didn't he just speak English? But then I realized that they're really making gorilla noises, probably.
That's
And
something I
they've
totally
they've
forgot
just
about.
translated it for us. Because like he talks to Jane, he doesn't know how to speak English.
Jane's teaching him English
Yeah.
Yes.
in that awesome musical cutscene.
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
best. It's such a good movie.
It's so good.
Jessica's saying Mulan had a decent soundtrack. Yes,
I want to hear
Mulan-
Gabe's beef.
Mulan had a
let's
really
circle
good
back.
soundtrack.
I never
All
saw
right.
Mulan.
so here's my beef, and I really like the movie. All right, so I'm gonna preface that
Scared.
with I really like Tarzan. Okay, my only issue is at the beginning of the movie.
Explain.
So at the beginning of the movie,
Oh.
they're shipwrecked, right? And they gotta find this island, right? And in the beginning of the movie, they said this island was pristine, no humans have ever like set foot into it, right? So they showed the cut with the baby. All of a sudden, they show the gorillas, and she, spoiler alert, alert, one of the baby gorilla dies, right? So the mother is in mourning, and then they show a cut of her hearing the baby crying and her running to go save it. How are you gonna tell me this is still a baby, and they built this huge ass tree house and no other animals knew that this place existed. And they have a freaking drawbridge from one island to the other island.
Okay.
And with like, and within a couple months, and this is still a baby, and it was only the mom
Wait,
and the dad.
I'm sorry. Your
He's still
issue
baby.
with this movie is that it doesn't apply on a real logic. It applies. It goes off
Disney
cartoon
logic.
logic.
I'm
Disney
just
cartoon
saying.
logic.
They have all this logic
Yeah,
in every
that's
single,
weak, Gabe.
in every single other movie. Yes, that is my issue
Did
with
they
it.
build that house in a day? I don't think so.
Right,
Maybe they
and
did.
that baby is still a baby.
I'm on Gabe's
And
side.
how you
The
gonna
The
have
dad was swole. They
how
both
you
did
gonna
it.
have a drawbridge from one island to the other
How did
with
that
just
cheetah-
the dad?
How did the cheetah kill the parents? With that, didn't see it coming from that long ass drawbridge.
Right.
You can't defend yourself against a jaguar.
This is stupid. It's an animated movie.
This is a
All
classic.
logic is thrown out the window at that point.
I'm gonna bring that back then to you because you have to have a little bit of logic, just a smidge.
Which
Maybe
it does.
They were fast.
Which it
a
does.
smidge.
Maybe they're fast.
This is crazy. That's your problem with the movie.
That's my problem with it. And I didn't
He
write
said
it down,
unwatchable
but
after that.
it got seared in my brain.
The whole movie, you're just thinking, like, this fucking motherfucker. How did he survive? Like,
yeah,
how
like
they
how
built
is
that
this
place?
baby still a baby after they built this
So in your
elaborate
timeline,
clubhouse?
in your head canon, Tarzan dies as a baby. The wildlife comes
No,
and
he should
they
be
all find
older.
him.
He says he thinks he should be older.
He should be older, not a baby. He should be older at least.
Okay.
Well,
My
then-
dad says you're just upset J-Lo's not in it.
Maybe that's true. Maybe
She
J-Lo-
should have played Jane.
Maybe she should have done the
Hey,
soundtrack.
listen, Jane had a
The soundtrack.
badunka in this. Just saying.
Jessica Rabbit's is still better. I mean,
and
that's
then
no
the
contest.
cheetah,
The dad
cheetah
was
couldn't
slow.
find the baby. The Cheetos.
It was in the trunk.
But then like the
You know, that's true.
They
The
suffocated
cheetah was
the
in
shit
there
out of
already.
that
How did the
baby.
cheetah not know the baby was there?
and then
Because it was baby was crying.
the mom
Heard it across the
the
jungle.
mom could hear it across the jungle, but
Right.
the cheetah couldn't find the baby.
Y'all are going too far.
So now you guys are making me think
This is
secondly
too
about
much.
Tarzan, and I'm not going to think
Like
about
I said,
that.
No, not-
really enjoyed it.
Listen.
I enjoyed it.
Listen, Time Magazine says Tarzan is smart, pure, and funny. So,
I agree with Time Magazine.
so that's it.
Coming, every trailer I see, it always says best movie of the year. So.
Best movie of the year.
There's a few I was going to highlight.
My other one would be Lion King, obviously.
You know, I'm going to go off the cream of the crop because I watched over 12 movies. So we watched Toy Story 1 and 2. And
Those
like,
are
it's followed by a
good.
ton. Monsters Inc. Like we'll talk about all those. I mean,
Monsters Inc. was good.
the one I want to highlight because I think it's one of the best films ever made, one of the best animated movies ever made.
Okay.
I
Let's
started
watch it.
rewatching it last night, but I fell asleep. But I see this
So,
movie.
but
at
it's
least,
the best. But you fell asleep. All right.
It was like 3 in the morning.
Heard.
It was 3 in the morning. But I finished watching it today. He came over and we had it
yeah,
on the background.
okay.
All
Uh,
time,
but I've seen it multiple times. So at this point, it's just background noise. It's Who Framed
but
Roger
it's the
Rabbit.
best movie of all time.
I think it's one of the best movies of all time. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? And
There's a ride at Disneyland.
Cheetah was too full. You can still hear that baby. You can still hear that
He was
baby.
waiting.
He was waiting. It
He
was
was
in
letting
between
his foot
meals.
settle. His
Yeah.
tummy hurt.
There's a lot of human meat.
He went after the gorilla. Your logic is flawed.
You gotta stop this hate on Tarzan.
I don't hate it. I loved it. I thought it was a sweet, heartwarming story.
So it goes from a
I'm
5-star film into a 4-star film because of this.
4.5.
4.5.
4.5.
That's crazy. No, but what I love about Who Framed Roger Rabbit is just the whole story behind it. At that point in time, combining the animation with live action was like unheard of at that level. With all those characters, not only from Disney but from Warner Brothers and other studios, Betty Boop, all these different things in there. And at the end of the day, it's like this super adult, gritty, hard-boiled detective story that happens to have animated characters in it. And Bob Hoskins has like the toughest job of like being pissed off and angry with all these fucking like animated characters, like they're human. Like he's like going for the Oscar when he's like acting with all these like Roger Rabbit and all these characters and stuff. And it's just the best. It's like one of my favorites. So
It's so weird watching like the behind the scenes footage because he's just by himself.
he's by himself. That's
So-
the best thing about that movie. Is he's just by himself. Or they'll have like little puppets for him to talk to, or little plastic things. But that's one of my favorites. It's like whenever I watch it, just gets better and better. But that was one I wanted to highlight real quickly because we covered Treasure Planet, which was one I was going to throw out there.
Yeah.
But Who Framed Roger Rabbit is, I know it's kind of a cheat because it's partly a live action, but I think it
Apparently
does.
not Disney characters.
Listen, all I
But
heard,
it's a Disney film.
all I heard you loved it was just because of Jessica Rabbit.
Oh,
So,
True.
Jessica Rabbit. I mean, that's every kid's crush right there.
was that your first crush?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Julian's saying no.
Tony's first crush was Pink Ranger from Ranger Powers.
Ranger Powers?
Ranger Powers?
Ranger Powers? Actually, yeah, it was the Pink Ranger from Mighty Morphin
Ranger
Power
Powers. This guy's like the dollar store.
It
He
was-
got the
it-
dollar store Power Rangers. Ranger Powers.
Ranger Powers. No.
Ranger Powers.
It's like that joke in Malibu's Most Wanted where he's like, "You got PlayStation?" He's like, "I got Game Station." I'm like, what is that? I can't afford one.
Julie couldn't afford a Power Rangers. So he
You
got
got Ranger
That was
Powers.
a movie that,
They do have the dollar store Power Rangers. I remember seeing those. They were like, I forgot what they were called. They were like super soldiers or something. And they were like not Power Rangers, but they were Power Rangers.
Going over to Tony's house younger, only 2 movies he was watching. It was either Batman and Robin or it was the Secret of the Ooze.
TMNT
Mighty
2,
Morphin.
The Secret of the Ooze.
No, it was Power Rangers movie with the Dr. Ooze.
That was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers
Power-
movie. Yeah. What a film.
Movies we watched.
It's the only movies I had on VHS. Batman and Robin was watched out of necessity. Just I needed something to watch. But yes, Jessica Rabbit's up there. I think that's Adrian's first crush, though. Sky Selenite claims.
Could be.
Yeah. Who knows? That guy's strange. But yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is gonna be my first pick.
Okay.
We're going to second picks now.
We
Um,
will.
all right. So mine's a little bit of a cheat as well because it's not technically a Disney movie, but it is a Disney movie. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, it's
Oh my
100% a
God,
Disney
yeah.
movie.
Well, yes, it is 100% a Disney movie, but at the time, Disney wasn't into making darker films, and they considered this one a very dark film based upon, Halloween, skeletons,
It's stop
witches.
motion, right?
Yes, it is called claymation,
Nice,
stop
yeah.
motion.
Yeah.
So they released it under their Touchstone brand. They're like, oh, you know what? Let's Touchstone handle that. And then it was a modest hit. But when it reached home video, that's where it really took off. I mean, at this point, it is like a cult classic. I don't even think it's a cult classic because everybody I know.
Everybody I know loves
Loves
this
that
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
So much merch everywhere.
Yes. I
Which
mean,
we're all guilty of buying.
One thing or the other.
definitely.
Everybody here. I mean, we got the Nightmare Before Christmas book on the coffee
Oh,
table.
shit, yeah, we did.
I mean, you go to any Hot Topic or
Yeah.
Spencer's, it's like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Hot Topic
everywhere.
got created out of this movie. Like the basis of Hot Topic came from like some guy sitting in a theater and going, "Man, I got a great
But
idea
I
for a
mean,
story."
it's, to
I gotta
me,
make some
it's a
shirts.
movie I watch at least twice a year for Halloween and for Christmas. And sometimes throughout the year, I'll just pop it in. I mean, it's one of the I know almost every song by heart. It's even. I mean, it's reached to. I mean, it's embedded in our pop culture. It's a movie that's embedded. Like you can't take it away, and and make another one. I mean, they can't make another movie like this.
Mhm.
If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have, Frankenweenie. We wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Frankenweenie,
Corpse Bride.
Corpse Bride,
Corpse Bride Disney?
My,
No.
Unfortunately, that's
That's like
DreamWorks.
DreamWorks with
Ah.
Corpse Bride.
my favorite stop
But
motion
still.
movie is Coraline. We wouldn't have
Oh, yeah,
Coraline.
yeah.
Which is the same director as Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
A lot of the big misconceptions is that Tim Burton directed this. He didn't. He came up with the story, the original poem, the drawings, the characters, all that stuff is Tim Burton.
It's his.
Every year at
yes.
Disney, they also from October through Christmas, they change Haunted Mansion to be Nightmare Before Christmas theme too.
Yeah.
So that's how big of an impact it has. They just
Right.
keep it for the whole
I
last
think-
half of the year.
I think any millennial, to a certain extent, maybe some like Gen Xers, but like I think from like anybody born in like the late 70s through like the mid 90s, like this movie is like embedded in like their soul in a sense. Like I don't know anybody who hasn't watched this.
Yeah.
And
I only
it's
saw it for the first time a couple of years ago. Me and my dad watched it, so it's still new.
nice. You should have made you watch it earlier.
Yeah, right. I forgot about that one for some reason. Nightmare
No,
Before Christmas.
I wrote it down, but it
Because
was
it's February.
It's one of those I never feel that there's certain ones where you don't feel the need to rewatch when you're about to do a list because you have it in your memory.
Right.
So,
I mean, I didn't
you know what
write
I mean?
it down, but it's just
Yeah,
like a
it's just
movie
like
that I knew that I wanted to talk about it
Yeah.
because of how much I love the movie.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I want to get like a whole like leg sleeve tattooed of Nightmare
Oh,
for
shit.
Oh, that'd be
Christmas.
awesome. I know a tattoo artist.
Oh, I feel like we saw somebody at Disney at the parks. Me and Jessica saw this girl who had a whole leg sleeve of Disney characters, and I'm sure Nightmare Before Christmas must have been on there.
Yeah.
And Zero, him so cute.
Disney adults are committed.
I'm not kidding.
Their life is just around
They
Disney.
got you ready to act up and be a Disney adult every time you go.
Yeah, every time you go, they're just like, I think I'm a Disney adult now.
The
What?
one thing I like about Nightmare Before Christmas is when you decorate your house, you can have it up from November all the way
Yep.
until January.
Yeah,
It
We
works
used
for
to have a little
Christmas,
light
Halloween.
projector thing
Yeah.
that was Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
I think it broke because we used it too much.
So, but like, what do you think is more like what's more hardcore, being like a Disney kid or adult, or being a Toys R Us kid?
What do you mean, like being a Disney adult, or
Well, like, yeah, you guys are saying like you're like hardcore when you're a Disney adult, but like you could also be a Toys R Us kid.
Mhm.
I don't think Toys R Us kids exist anymore.
In Canada, they still do.
In
Do
Canada, they
exist
do.
In Canada, they
There's
have
still
it.
Toys R Us Canada
Yeah.
kids.
I mean, Toys R Us was the place to be.
I used to work there for a
yeah.
month.
I forgot you worked there.
I
You know
feel
what?
like with a Disney adult, you're
He only
making
worked there during like the Xbox 360 release, so that way he could get one, and then he quit after he got one.
with the Disney
I
adult, I
worked
feel like
there.
you're making
I
a
worked there
conscious
before the Switch
decision
came out. It was like the month of
to
the
spend like
Switch was
thousands of dollars.
amazing thing. You
Oh,
know?
when the Switch came out,
Yeah, but I couldn't work there. They wanted me to push their credit cards, and like, I don't care about your damn credit cards.
Y'all are
This
closing.
failing
All
store.
you gotta do is just like
They
credit
based-
card.
all them hoes in debt.
They based your hours on how many credit cards you
Oh
sell.
my god.
So I sold none, so they gave me like 4 hours, like on a Sunday night.
That's terrible.
Y'all are
Who's
closing.
next? What's another movie that we want to throw down?
I'll talk about Coco.
Oh, we haven't seen that one.
Coco is you haven't seen Coco?
Mhm.
I unfortunately have
Oh.
not seen Coco.
God damn it.
And that was really bad.
Jessica
That
says
is bad.
Jessica says
I know
Harry
it's
Potter
bad.
adults are the worst.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I love the Harry Potter.
yeah.
Novels.
All right, well, I guess it's you and me on Coco, bro.
Oh, man.
Because I love Coco. Coco's awesome.
I worked at the movie theater when it came out on Thanksgiving. I went to see it by myself. Came out, and I had to go home for my shifts because I was just fucking crying my eyes out. I related to Coco a lot because my grandmother being sort of Hispanic, and it was like that's my Coco.
My Coco.
My grandmother, and then the whole ending is just it came out a while. You can fucking spoil it.
No,
No, this is a
spoil it.
movie
I
that just like
wouldn't care.
completely like it's one of those where I feel like every couple of years there's a movie that everybody talks about and you just like totally forget to see and haven't had a chance to.
Frozen.
For me, it's what I've seen Frozen.
No, yeah, me
but,
too, but it took me a while.
But Coco is one of those where I haven't
No,
seen. Yeah.
Coco needs to be like at the top of your watch list.
And you know what? We almost watched it, but it was like at this point, I'm like, man, there's like 12 Disney movies we just watched. At this point, like, how much more can I take?
No, but Coco,
Content.
when I watched it at the movies, like I went with Jessica, and she hates like cartoon movies. She's like a really adults. Like I'm not watching any cartoon movies.
She's over there giggling.
'cause she's like I'm a woman. I am watching cartoon movies. But I finally was able to convince her to go watch Coco with me. She absolutely loved it. To this day, she still talks about Coco. But like visually, like the sunflowers are so
Colors.
vibrant,
There's so
the
many
colors,
man.
and like and I always say this, right? Being Mexican, to see a Mexican story on the big screen of like the Day of the Dead, to see the colors, to see our traditions, to see our stuff. It was really awesome, and it was like so sweet to see it. The story was cute. The little boy was really cute. Just everything about it just hit every right note that you wanted to when they were talking about like the Day of the Dead. We're talking about like remembering your ancestors, remembering your culture, honoring, your parents and your forefathers. And it was just, I don't know, like getting a little teary-eyed because it's such like a sweet movie that like I like enjoyed tremendously just watching it.
I cannot watch it without crying. Every time I watch it,
Yeah,
I cry.
it's one of those movies like it's like Lion King, right? I cry at Lion
It's
King.
over with Lion King.
Coco was on that list when I watched Coco. It's like it's so touching, and like when she finally remembers her dead husband, and I was like, oh my god, like right now, like ooh, it got me.
Yeah.
Because Coco just has that effect on you.
Damn.
We should have watched it.
Yeah, maybe we should have just fucking watched it. That's one of those that just like
Even the dog, they have a Mexican dog, Cholo, and it's like a hairless dog. It's like a native. It's native to Mexico, right?
Dante.
So Dante. So they have so he's like very dopey and droopy, like tongue hanging out, very like funny looking. But he even gets his comeuppance at the end, and he becomes like the family's like guardian, and he turns into like this badass like dog at the end. Like
Period.
it's awesome. You guys need to watch it.
I know,
I
and
think
now,
so.
now we need to watch it.
Everything
would have
about
been a
it's
big
just
Aztec
nice.
mythical creature, but okay.
Yeah, he turns into a huge Aztec mythical creature. So it's
Oh.
awesome.
Awesome. Do you want to throw down the next pick?
Oh, sure.
I didn't get to do my second
Oh,
pick.
yeah, it's-
Go ahead.
Oh, did we go this? I thought we went this way and then
No, it
Well,
was-
we did one. Yeah. but
Okay,
then-
then yeah, you could say your next one. I did not.
We started off with.
Oh,
We
no.
started off.
I think
with
we got so deep into that Coco discussion. I was just like, oh yeah.
Everyone gets a pick but me.
What is your second film that you're picking?
I could go obvious and say The Lion King, but I think I'm gonna do Inside Out, Pixar. I think it's like 2015, 2014 maybe. That's one that makes me cry every time. Oh my god. Have you guys all seen it or no?
Yes, you
I saw it last night, and
Oh,
it was
last
like
night?
it's like my third watch done.
Oh my god. It's so good. Like I feel like I'm really bad at explaining myself compared to you guys, but it's good. It's like it goes inside their head. Well, it's specifically the girl they choose who I forget how old she's supposed to be, maybe 13, 12, 13.
I think she's a little younger than that.
Younger?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she moves towns, and when I was younger, I moved towns, and it's just going through all the emotions of she doesn't feel like she has any friends, and she misses her friends back home, and she's losing her memories because they're messing. There's like core memories that they're messing with inside her head, and because of that, she's like forgetting things. And I haven't seen it in a while, but it's gonna make me cry if I talk about it more.
That one's
Because-
pretty emotional.
Because it still hits you though.
Yeah.
Because
It's
you just
relatable.
moved from countries,
True.
right?
True.
And
I
you're
moved countries.
you move countries, and now it's like whole new friends, and so it's like it still applies to
And
you.
at the time, I was her age too. When I mean, like I said, I thought she was 12, 13. Maybe she's not.
Maybe she is.
But I
you
did
know.
move when I was 12, 13-ish to a different city. And I fucking hated it. Like, it was so bad. I got bullied. Anyways, it's sad. The movie
No,
makes me think of that because she's kind of crying at school all the time. The emotions are really sad. There's a whole thing. She's got a imaginary friend named Bing Bong, I think. And
Bing
there's-
bong.
And there's a whole sad moment with it.
That Bing Bong.
Bing Bong, not Bing
What's the name? You know the name.
It's-
Bing Bong.
It's
Bing bong.
Yeah.
It's bing bong.
Oh,
He said not Bing Bong. As in something.
I thought you were
bad.
correcting it. I'm like, I thought that's what it was too.
No.
It's bing bong, but except now it reminds me of
Yeah, now it
that,
just reminds you of the Joe Biden guy.
Of the Joe
Yeah.
Biden
Oh my god.
No, that's a good pick, and that's a relatable pick.
And there's a scene where it's like there's a part of her insides that's interested in boys in her head. And the boy they base her dream boy on is Harry Styles. That's who they designed the character after. So I think the movie was made for me.
That's a good one. That one reminds me of Soul for some reason.
Like
a
I
lot.
said, I'm
They
not
both
as,
are very similar.
oh yeah, Soul.
Very similar.
I'm not as good, like I said, as explaining why I like a movie so much as you guys who watch movies all the time, but it makes me cry, so that means it's good to me.
Yeah, that one's good. Jessica says it's a good way to learn about anxiety and depression.
Yeah,
Mental
that's
illness.
exactly it.
Yeah, no, that's a
Inside
great
Out
point.
is perfect, and it even shows like inside a man's brain, her dad and mom's brain. Like,
So I think maybe we should just like lump in a lot of like the Pixar movies. But anyways, just to go with Inside Out, it's a movie that, and most Disney movies, right? They give you a message,
mhm.
and so because a lot of kids, it's the first time like you're watching movies, you start off with Disney movies or whatever the case may be. So they like teach you life lessons. So Inside Out, it's just the lesson Inside Out is teaching you is how to deal with your emotions, what emotions you're feeling, that it's okay to be sad. It is okay to be happy. It is
This is
okay
everything
to
I'm
have
trying to say at all
depression.
times.
And it is okay to have these feelings, and there's nothing wrong to have these feelings. There's nothing wrong to be angry. There's nothing wrong to be, scared of things. It's and it's a wonderful way to teach kids about your feelings.
And I feel like giving them a personality helps you deal with them more if you don't really know
Absolutely.
what you're dealing with.
And my favorite character is the angry guy. That guy's just hilarious. He just wants to blow everything up at all times. Like, oh, let's get angry here.
Oh, and then that reminds me, just because I said I haven't seen it in a long time, but happiness is almost like toxic happiness.
Right.
She
It
doesn't
is.
want sadness to make any decisions, but it's like
Joy.
let her be sad.
Joy.
Yeah. Like there's also like again, like you said, it's okay to be sad. It doesn't have to be your whole life.
Right.
But she still
And
needs to feel
within
those
happy
things.
memories, it could be sadness to
Mhm.
that attached. Like you could be happy that you went, like, let's say, to Disney World, but at the same time, you could be sad because it's like, oh, it's my last trip here, but
Yeah.
it's still such a happy memory because you went there. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great movie to teach and to just watch.
Have you seen? I forget. You said you saw.
Yeah,
it?
I've seen Inside Out. That's why I was comparing it to Soul. I felt like those would make
Oh,
a
Soul
perfect
made me
double
cry
feature.
too.
Sorry, Victor, I
Okay,
sort of
for another
overtook
crowd.
a
I was
little
just
bit.
letting you guys go
No,
off.
no, what you say is like I feel like it's what I try to say, but I don't know how to describe movies that well. So yeah.
No, yeah, no,
What Gabe said.
I think it's like on a lot of people's list. Soul or not Soul, Inside Out is like on top of everybody's Pixar
I was
list. or
telling
Disney
Jessie
list.
last night. I was like, "Hey, we only got one more movie to watch. Like, what do you want to watch? What should I put on?" And just automatically said, "Inside Out." I was like, "All right, you got it."
I watch that movie if I know I'm okay with. I'm gonna cry my eyes out. Like I can't if I know I'm gonna have to be somewhere.
Another one I would put it in there because this one is like you guys mentioned movies, and then it's not my pick. I'm just gonna give it a quick shout out because it's one where it's like one of the Disney movies that 100% make me cry or tear up is the first 10 minutes of Up.
I was gonna say
You get a little mini movie inside the movie, and it's their love story, Carl's love story. Man, that hits you in the feels. It's rough.
Up is very rough to watch at the beginning.
Up is sad,
Cool.
but I love Doug.
I saw Up in theaters.
Jessica says
Emotional.
if you notice in the movie the way they portray, like maybe the generation of those adults probably didn't learn to deal with their mental health that well. So in the dad's head, anger is like in charge of everything, and in the mom, it's sadness, which I feel like people of that, like adults of that time, didn't always have access to like therapy and mental health resources. So I feel like that makes sense too.
Most guys just
Are
are led by anger, and most girls are just led by sadness. in general. I mean, I think maybe all of us have like some little anger bubbling.
Maybe
Yeah.
because those adults weren't pansies as kids. Like today's kids are.
No, but Up is really sad though.
Up is sad. Inside Out. A lot of those I would lump together in terms of like they're more emotional Pixar movies for sure. Coco, I have to see. It's a blind spot. Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, the three I have not seen are the ones that are the most popular right now, and I think it's just because once you get to a certain age,
You didn't watch Encanto yet?
Oh no.
Come on, man.
I feel like it's one of those things where it doesn't become as much of a priority as the ones that you go.
It is a priority. If you're a Disney fan, you
But
watch things as a priority.
I'm saying there's certain movies where it's like a nostalgia factor, right? So it's like for me, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go see Toy Story 4 opening day because I love the Toy Story movies. And then Encanto, she's like, oh, I'll see it eventually. And then eventually becomes I've never seen it. Or even Coco and then Moana. I haven't seen 3 of those right there.
I haven't seen the last Toy Story movie yet.
You haven't seen Toy Story 4?
I have not seen Toy Story 4.
What?
Isn't it fun?
Which is the weakest one.
That is not. None of them are weak.
Isn't it
They're
fun?
weak.
None of them are weak. You're
Where's it
crazy.
for?
You know nothing about those movies. Stop with the hot takes today.
I already spoiled it for myself, but I'm so pissed off at Woody. Like he fought his whole life to be with a fucking kid.
With
All my
an
life
he just
I had
fucking
to
ditches
fight.
the kid at the end. So
You know what's
what?
crazy? Toy Story 3 and 4 both have really depressing endings.
Toy Story 3 is
Toy
probably
Story
the
3, actually.
saddest ending.
Right.
Both of those endings are really.
I guess we're
fucking
talking
sad.
Toy Story now.
Well,
guys.
whose turn is it
So
next?
long,
Who's got the
Parker.
next?
I don't know. It was you
You.
because
Then I guess I will pick not Toy Story 4. I'm gonna pick Toy Story 2.
just pick the whole entire Toy Story
Yeah,
franchise.
it's Toy Story.
Okay, I will because I love them all pretty much equally.
Toy Story
But the
3
reason
and-
why I picked the reason why I picked Toy Story 2 is because it's the one I've seen the most, and out of all of them, if like I had to put my bias aside, which movie I think is the absolute best out of all the Toy Story movies, and I know people will bring up the scene in part 3 at the end where they think they're gonna die. I love part 3, I love part 4, but for me, Toy Story 2 is peak Toy Story.
It is.
It is everything that they bring out with the Woody lore, all the side characters, Stinky Pete, Jesse, Bullseye, the little Buzz Lightyear scene where
What's
it's
the
the
villain
video
name?
game at the beginning was just like I
What's the
remember
villain's name?
Emperor Zurg, all those things from are just distinctively remember all those images and
Cheetah
they hold
fingers.
up so much. Wayne Knight plays the Al from Al's Toy Barn, and he's in the chicken suit. And yeah, for
He's got
Cheetos are
Cheeto
in that
fingers, I
movie
remember
all
that.
all the time. Like the Cheetos in that
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
the cheese puffs.
So they look so good in that movie, though.
You would lick them off his
They
fingers,
look
I think.
So good.
You would.
What else?
I think that's Toy
You're
Story
licking
3
fingers
is.
over there, huh?
But Toy Story 2 is for me the peak of the Toy Story franchise. I love part 3 and part 4 equally, just on par with each other. But part 2 is the best Toy Story movie. It's one of the best Pixar movies, one of my favorite movies. And that's my next pick. It's just one of my favorites.
Toy Story 2 is the last, Slinky.
And it's the last one.
Ernest.
Yes, it's Ernest. That's his last role is Slinky in
before
there.
he died.
And it's also the
Really?
only Toy Story 1 and 2 are the only ones that don't have a sad ending. Like things are pretty fucking good for them in those movies by the end. Like life is good. Like, yeah,
Andy fucked everything up. You just had to grow up and go to college.
Andy grows up in the next one. It's depressing, and then they leave Bonnie in the fourth one. I just spoiled it for you.
Just Woody leaves Bonnie, right?
Yeah. Woody, but even then, it's like, damn.
Woody
why-
was trying to get some Bo Peep,
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
trying to get some of that Bo Peep.
it's been a while. He's got to catch up on lost time.
Oh my God, it's a toy.
But I, as much as I love 3 and 4, and there's nothing wrong with them in my eyes, 2 is where, when I think of Toy Story, it has all the elements of Toy Story in part 2. So
Even
that's my
the
favorite.
opening scene for Toy Story 2 was badass.
It's the Buzz Lightyear video game, and the part 2 leads into the Buzz Lightyear Star Command animated series and the animated movie that they came out with, which was a great show in the early 2000s that would come on
And they're coming out with
ABC. So yes, and that's one of my most anticipated movies right now is Lightyear. So as a huge fan, part 2 is the best, bar none. What do you have to say about Toy Story? Because it seems like you have another hot take that you just
No,
willing to
I liked the first Toy Story. I enjoyed the second one, and then the third and the fourth. I watched them, but I just really don't remember the third and the fourth one. So I don't really have like a hot take on them. I remember,
You're just not really attached to these movies.
I'm not really attached to Toy Story.
Yeah.
I, mean,
I think it's like at that point in time, I feel like if you were a kid that like in the early 2000s where it's really represent, those movies really represent the late 90s, early 2000s, that toy boom, Toys R Us, all those things. Like it's really like you get to practically smell that time period when you watch these movies.
but didn't the first Toy Story come out in '95?
95, but the second one's 99. So with VHS and
The
stuff.
third one's like 2010.
2010, there's a huge gap. All those kids from that era, like those are 2 movies of the fucking movies.
Well, '95, I would have been 12 years old. So yeah, the first
Were you
one.
still playing with action figures at 12?
I just started playing with myself at 12.
I wasn't born yet.
No, we weren't born yet. About a year later. So Toy Story 2, that's why it's the, for me, Toy Story 2 is the fucking movie, man.
Yeah, I guess it would be for you. But yeah, Toy Story 1, I remember vividly, and it was a great story, and I love Toy Story. From that point on, I remember, and the
What are
second
these
one,
fucking accounts?
the second one came out in '99. I would have been like a junior or sophomore in high school. I definitely was not watching these movies just to like for fun at that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, this third and the fourth one, I don't remember much. The first one, the first one's a classic.
Cool. Yeah, so that's my pick, Toy Story 2.
All right. So I, being a fan of the romantic comedies that I am, I'm gonna come in with a really good romantic animated
I know what you're gonna say.
Wall-E.
Nope, I thought you were gonna say Lady and the Tramp.
No, Wall-E.
Wally's good.
He's fucking sad.
Wall-E.
I got sad at one
And talking
point.
about
sad,
like
man.
talking about like movies that like make you like maybe teary eyed and stuff. It's Wall-E. Wall-E's such a sad character. He's alone on planet Earth, and you can feel his loneliness. His only best friend is a cockroach, and all he wants is because he watches like these old VHS movies. Dancing in the Rain. I forget the name of it. Maybe that's the name of it.
Singing in the Rain?
Singing
Dancing in the Rain?
Dancing in the Rain. Whatever.
It's the sequel.
They're both doing the same thing. They're singing and dancing. But anyways, all he wants is like a touch. It's like to hold somebody's hand.
Someone's hand and dance.
Yep, that's all he wants in the world, and he gets that with Eve. And this plus, and then you have the whole side story on that we ruined this planet. So you have like the whole romantic story behind it at the forefront, and then behind it is like how we ruined this planet and how they had to go to outer space and how they like it's been like thousands of years and they're still in outer space. But anyways, I love Wall-E.
And
It's
you
like
get me one of them chairs. Those people.
the hover round chairs, where like you liquefy like your entire mass and you can't walk because you're just all
Liquid.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I think that's one of those universal movies where I can't think of a person that doesn't like Wall-E. I feel like you gotta be crazy.
Jessica.
Oh, no. Never mind. I thought
So let me
everybody-
tell you something. So I'm throwing her under the bus a lot today, but let me just tell you something. Like when we first hooked up, right? I was like, "You have you ever watched Wall-E?" And I'm thinking to myself,
That
like,
was a deal breaker.
that was like my that's like my suave, like, "Hey, you want to watch Wall-E?" Like, like, I ain't watching no Wall-E. I was like, "Come on, it's a nice romantic. I ain't watching that." We watched it finally like 2 years after like we got together, and she's like, "It It was all right.
Oh,
And I'm like
no.
expected to be like, oh my God, I love that movie. I love the whole aspect of it. And she was just like, we should have just broke up there. But we continued on, obviously.
We continued on.
Just never
That's
put
why
on Wally.
But I've never put on Wally like while she's there with me. Like anytime I put Wally, I'm by myself watching Wally.
Should a couple months, like Jessica, the first couple months was like, get to watch Star Wars. Thank God she liked it.
Right?
That's what she tells you. Is
Well,
that she likes it.
I think she
what
tells
was that
me
movie for us?
she makes some.
I don't know.
Quotes.
I feel like I haven't really forced any like. Maybe The Nice Guys. I think it was,
I like that movie.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I'm trying to think of a movie. I'm like, oh, you got to see this.
What's
movie.
the one with the dad from Twilight? And it's a party movie.
Oh, Can't Hardly Wait. She didn't like.
What?
Which I love Can't Hardly Wait, but she didn't like
All right,
Can't Hardly
I'm gonna
Wait,
have
which
my
is-
opinion. Y'all have ragged on my movies all day.
No, but Wall-E, at the end of the day, is one of my favorite Pixar movies. It's up there as like top 3, if not even like 1. And I'm talking because I differentiate between like Disney Pixar and like Disney animation.
Yeah.
But so Disney Pixar, Wall-E, and Coco, they're like 1, 2 right there for me.
No, it's a great pick. Wally's in my top 10 for Pixar, probably top 5. I feel like if we do an all Pixar episode, I'm gonna have to catch up. On.
I'm sort of caught up on all
Coco.
Pixar at this
Pixar's
point.
good.
Yeah, I think the only
Sorry.
what else? I don't think. No, I haven't seen The Good Dinosaur either.
Oh, really?
I've not seen.
I
The Good
saw
Dinosaur.
bits of it on
I haven't
Shuttle
seen
once.
Soul.
Oh, Soul's good.
Soul's good.
Really good.
I haven't seen Luca.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see Luca either.
I
These
didn't
are
see-
two that I
I
didn't
didn't
see.
see Luca or
Argentina, we don't.
Are they Italian in that movie?
Are they Italian?
Luca, they're Italian.
Oh, yeah.
Argentina.
Oh, it's disgraceful.
Yeah, it was with the.
It's Encanto that the big one is. That's not Argentina. That is Colombia.
They're in Colombia.
For
It's a good
Encanto.
movie. Encanto's a good movie.
All right, who's next? What's the next?
This
bit?
guy's
This
next.
guy next.
This guy with his 50 pages of Disney movies.
He's been taking notes during the show. I don't know about
I
what,
have-
but he's
I
been
have.
writing stuff down.
He's scratching the stuff that we talk about.
I say a movie. I have not seen this movie, but it's Jessica's favorite movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Never seen it either.
Oh, I've seen it. And it's. I feel like
Quasimodo.
Quasimodo.
this came out during a weird period where Disney was. I feel
This
like
is post-Renaissance Disney.
this is like right. It's got to be right before Hercules. I think right. Is it 90? What year is The Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Is Jessica still in here? Maybe
Me
with
with
Marvel,
Marvel and
Lord
Lord
of
of
the
the Rings
Rings.
with Julian.
the movie she doesn't like.
No, that's the movie that she made me watch.
Oh,
Lord of the
okay,
Rings
okay.
And Marvel.
Hunchback.
You've seen most of the Marvel movies.
Yeah, I know, but she knows that.
Oh, but it's just like
1996.
that's like the love. of
she
it,
knows
yeah.
that. I
96
think
was-
DC's better.
Oh wait,
Hunchback.
so the Hunchback of Notre Dame, I feel like is one that's always forgotten about, and it's one that didn't really perform well for Disney too.
And Hercules was a year after.
Then Hercules was a year after, and I feel like it suffers from like
Hunchback
being around. It is underrated. I feel like it suffers from coming out around that time period. They both had very similar animation, but I think it's a very good film. I think he looks fucking weird. Such a weird
What's the
character.
point?
It's Quasimodo. What do you
Yeah, he
mean?
just looks fucking weird. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like his face.
But that's Jessica's favorite movie. I haven't seen it yet, but
But no, I think it's good, and I think it's one of the more underrated ones for sure.
I did see parts of it. And I'm really pissed off that like he helps this girl, this gypsy, and she just says, "Fuck you, I want to be with this guy," and not you, Quasimodo.
Oh yeah.
He's
And he just gets so like when they kiss, his face just so heartbroken. And I really feel for him.
Do they end up together? The
No.
Gypsy and Quasimodo?
Damn.
No, they don't.
Because I've never seen it.
R.I.P. Quasi.
It
Quasimodo
should have been on your list.
It should have been on my list.
He risked it for the best.
Quasimodo risked it all for this gypsy bitch, and she's like, "Yeah, you're kind of ugly. You're kind of ugly."
Yes, love that
He
movie.
is ugly.
Yeah, he's an ugly motherfucker.
Yeah,
Y'all are mean.
Even for a kid's cartoon character,
He's a
he's
big
ugly, man.
Even for a kid's cartoon.
He's
Yeah.
scary. He's like he makes Shrek look nice.
Damn.
Damn.
Some millennials think Shrek looks sexy, so I guess I don't know.
There's a Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Right?
Yeah. No, I think that's a great pick. So
I think the issues people had with it at the time or now is it's just a gypsy aspect, right? Is because
Mhm.
now you look at that movie and being called a gypsy, which is sort of mentioned from what I hear, because I've never seen the movie, they mention gypsies a lot, like in name, right? Oh, she's gypsy or the gypsies and all that. But now a gypsy is like a racial slur in a sense.
It is. I also think it suffers from coming out like right after Lion King, around Toy Story,
Mulan.
like Mulan, like all these other movies that are like a bit better in
98.
terms of technical scale.
It's going to come back. It's the music is very popular on TikTok. So
Hercules, or sorry,
Hunchback.
Hunchback.
They use the theme.
oh yeah.
TikTok.
You know what's sad though is that that cathedral Notre Dame burned down.
It did burn down. Not all the way. They're kind of
rebuilt it,
slowly
I think.
rebuilding.
Yeah,
it.
they're rebuilding it now. But
And then I think when they're rebuilding it, it caught on fire again.
All right, who's next? What's
we
the
got
next one?
Victoria's next.
Victoria, what's your next film?
I think I gotta go with Lion King. I know I said it was the obvious one, but Julian's marking it off there. Lion King is probably Lion King and Tarzan are like my number one. Another one that I rewound a million times, played the soundtrack. Even now, the soundtrack is like good at the gym. The Lion King soundtrack. The second one, Lion King is all their movies are pretty good. 1.5 and Lion King 2 are both really good movies too.
Well,
Lion King's just legendary.
1.5.
I like 1.5.
I like
Timon and
1.5.
Pumbaa.
1.5. I don't know about that one.
I like that one a lot.
From their point of view.
Take a tunnel.
I agree. I feel like it's one of those movies. Like, what else is there?
And
to say?
I like the live action, so everyone can fight me on that one.
I like the live action too. I agree with
Period.
you on that.
You know what? My unpopular opinion is I actually liked Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen. I think better. as Timon and
Victoria
Pumbaa.
fights me on this. That-
Because I get it. You say that was a
she
shot
gets
for
so
shot
mad at me.
remake.
She gets so
So
mad.
is
at me.
everything else.
Okay, that movie is good. It's fine. It's good looking on a technical level, but it does nothing
And-
with that story. It does absolutely
and-
nothing, and that's fine for me personally. It's
That's
just
what
the
live. That's what the live actions are. They're supposed to do nothing.
Cinderella does new things. Beauty and the Beast adds new things.
What? That she's British?
What?
Those movies add
She's
new
supposed to
things.
be in
The
France.
Lion King is literally a fucking. It's not even live action. It's still animated.
I think-
It's an animated
I
movie.
think
It's
because,
CGI animation.
Yeah. Maybe
It's
that's-
just. It's not even. It's not a live action.
You're
film.
just hating just
That's
like
all
That
on
was
the live
Jungle
action.
Book, pretty much. Besides the kid.
those.
The kid that's like there's multiple human
Yeah,
people
yeah,
in that movie.
Lion King's good.
There's a multiple
Lion
human
King is
people
good.
in that
Yeah.
movie.
You're just hating Lion King just
Oh,
to hate
no.
it.
I think you just don't like Beyonce.
You just don't like Donald Glover.
I love Donald Glover. I
I
thought he
know.
was great. I thought the whole cast was great. What's the point in watching it if you can just watch the first one?
Because
Give me
the new
one.
one-
If you're gonna watch The Lion King, which one are you gonna watch? Don't just say you're gonna watch the live action one. Which one are you gonna watch?
Right
Yeah, that's right. You're gonna watch the original.
But you know what? Right now, I think I would choose to watch the live action one because I've seen the original probably 800 times.
Okay, how many times are you gonna watch the live action one?
A lot.
You're just saying that.
I
You're
can't
just-
like it and
you're
watch
just
it
saying
again.
You're just
You're
saying.
just
it
saying you
to say
wouldn't watch it.
I
would
actually-
If
watch
I put it
I
on,
would
you
watch
wouldn't
it.
watch it.
I own the live action Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah,
I
that's a
like the
good
live
one.
action Beauty and the Beast. I think it's a really
but
good
I
movie.
like the Disney live actions.
Yeah, I like Timon
I
and
To a
like
Pumbaa
certain
better.
extent.
No,
I feel like
I
if
like
you-
them all.
I feel like if you're
I
gonna,
need more.
why?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
What other ones can they animate?
Tarzan
Huh?
again.
But what's the point if the animated one did so good at it? Why do you want to watch it again if you could just watch the
Why do you
original?
watch Halloween 2018?
Because evil
It's a,
dies
it's
tonight.
a sequel.
Evil Dies
It's
Tonight.
a sequel to the first one.
So what?
I think if you're going to do a live action,
You
remake,
watched the
have
sequel to
change
the first
something.
Halloween back in freaking whatever 81. It's just another movie. Why?
Those
not?
are just like the comparisons are so outlandish. They do not make
I
any
think you just
sense.
don't like the
You're
Lion
missing
King for
the
some
best
reason.
live action Disney movie.
What is that?
Blue Will Smith, Aladdin.
I
Yeah.
you guys.
He hasn't seen
I haven't
Aladdin.
seen the
You haven't
remake
seen
of
it?
Aladdin. No, everybody.
I like it.
I have
That's
nothing to
good.
base
I
it
like
on.
it.
You know what?
Will Smith?
I did not like it.
Will Smith is good.
They gave Will Smith like a love interest.
Here,
Like,
Aladdin
they
is
gave
the
Genie a
version of
love
when you
interest.
don't want them to add stuff to a live action, in my opinion.
I'm gonna spoil it for you because it was dumb. Because
Yeah, it's like 3 years.
he
ago.
just didn't want to be free. He wanted to be human, right? He
Oh, Will
wished
Smith,
to
yeah.
be human,
Yeah.
so he can have a wife and kids and shit.
Yes, I think he's still a genie, right? He's just.
I don't
a
think he
human.
was. He was just a human.
No?
I don't think he
Okay.
was a genie anymore.
But I did
What
like
it
that
was-
he didn't try to be Robin Williams, obviously.
Yeah, he made it. Will Smith took the role, made it his own.
Mhm.
I haven't seen it. I like the Cinderella
Aladdin has
remake.
another really
I
good
thought the
soundtrack.
Cinderella remake did good stuff.
I haven't seen it.
I watched
I-
that.
I
one
enjoyed
ages-
that
That was
one.
like one of the first
Which
live
was
action
the Cinderella
ones.
remake?
with
The Cinderella remake.
With Lily, she's playing Pamela Anderson right now.
Yeah,
Wow.
She's
Lily
in it.
James.
She's in it.
I guess I missed that one.
That's like 2015, 2014. It's a
old,
while ago.
Yeah.
The 2015. I think that was the first one they did.
Okay.
Anyways, Lion King live
well,
action is good. So
Speaking of
sorry.
a little bit about movie news, then, since we're talking about live action, right? The Snow White has issues right now for
With
live
Peter
action.
Dinklage.
With Peter
Kristen
Dinklage.
Dunst.
Oh, and then they
The
cast a
Huntsman?
minority to play Snow White, and people are mad about that too.
Yeah.
Just like they cast a minority to play the Little Mermaid, which people are also mad about too.
Which Harry Styles was supposed to be in.
The musical that they did, live action musical.
Now they're doing a live action movie now with
they're
Little Mermaid.
doing the live action Little Mermaid. They already shot
Melissa
it.
Oh, okay. I
McCarthy.
think when they did like those little plays and
Oh,
had
yeah,
Queen
like
Latifah
Broadway?
playing Ursula.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, Queen
They were
Latifah.
always on the Disney Channel. Man, so we're at the 20
Wait, I
hour,
have one I
20
want to talk
minute
about
mark
that
right
Jillian will be
now.
on my side about High School Musical. Oh wait, that's not animated.
No, we're not talking about.
No,
it.
we're going in right now. We're
It's a
still
live action.
going in
It's a
strong
live
on
action.
Disney right
We're
now.
not doing any live action.
We're doing
not
High School
doing
Musical.
Musical. No,
Sorry, animated.
animation.
Hey, what you got up next?
I lost track after being ganged up on just for pointing out a fact about. I don't even hate that movie.
I
Just
think you do.
I think it's passable, but I just feel like as all those talented people involved, they could have done something a little
Tony's
bit
like,
different.
I'm here for the gangbang.
I did do it all good. So
I'll throw out a CJ movie, James and the Giant Peach.
it's stop motion, and it's one. I think it's one of the best.
Is it stop motion?
Yeah,
or is
it's
it-
the same
Is
director.
it
I'm looking at
Disney?
movies right now.
It's
It's
Disney and the same director as A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Interesting.
A lot of the same people who worked on Nightmare worked on this. It has a great cast, some really cool live action sequences that turn into stop motion animation. That movie's awesome.
the live action was a little cringy acting, but
Oh, that's what makes it so good, though. It's so cartoony.
How was the peach?
dummy thick, man, dummy thick.
It was thick.
Was
It
it-
was
was it- was it
thick.
thick? peach?
It was a peach.
He lives in that
Oh,
peach, man.
nice.
Oh, he-
Another good
he eats
Pixar
that
one.
peach.
Very nice.
Another good Pixar one is Zootopia.
Zootopia
That's
is
not
really
Pixar.
good.
It's not
It is
Pixar?
good.
No, it's Disney animation.
Disney
Oh, yeah,
started
yeah.
doing their own. I don't know what the first Disney animated one is. I want to say.
Snow White is the first Disney animation.
No, I mean in
one.
terms of their CGI animation, that's not Pixar.
Okay.
I'm not. I think they started around the 2010s, started doing their own thing.
Well, they had to. So I mean, Disney bought Pixar back in 2006. So before then, they had just licensing deals, and they had an issue. Like CEOs were like measuring their dicks and saying, "I got the biggest
Disney and
one."
Pixar have gotten into like 5 fights
Oh yeah.
where they've almost broken up for good.
Yeah. Apple's at the time, Apple's CEO was the CEO of Pixar.
Yes.
Steve
Steve
Jobs.
Jobs owned.
And then he's like,
Pixar.
well, we're
Yeah.
just gonna find a new distributor, right? So, and then Disney fired their CEO, and they hired somebody else, and then they flat out just bought Pixar in 2006.
And what's fucked up is that they would like threaten them, saying, "Oh, if you take your movies, we're just gonna make really shitty straight to DVD sequels to the movies that you made." Like to
Damn.
like Toy Story and Monsters Inc. They would threaten them and be like, "We're like gonna make like this terrible straight to DVD version."
Right. And part of the deal though with Pixar was that Pixar kept their own studio, like separate from Disney, and like their own building. So like they don't even work with Disney in that regard. It's just they make their own movies, they do
And then
whatever they
Disney
want to do,
distributes
and
them.
then Disney distributes.
Yeah, they're kind of evil. I think Walt Disney was.
They're
A
power
Nazi.
drunk.
He was
Nazi.
definitely,
Well, they got his head in the
He was
basement down at
definitely
Walt
in
Disney
relation with-
Corporation.
But-
Hitler.
That's why they
He's
came
a
up with the
distant
movie
You
cousin.
can feel though the effects of Disney trying to like emulate Pixar before they brought them out, you know,
Oh, yeah.
because like Meet the Robinsons.
Meet the Robinsons.
Really
that's
good.
that's gotta
It's
be the
really
first one.
good. It's like the first one that you can tell like they tried to do like a Pixar movie.
And Chicken Run. I feel like that
And
was
Chicken Run.
around their time where
Chicken
they're
Run
like,
or
we're
Chicken
trying.
Little?
Chicken Little. I'm
Chicken
sorry,
Little.
not Chicken. Chicken Run's really good.
Chicken Run is
I love
Wallace and
Chicken Run.
Gromit, isn't it?
That's a great one.
I like chicken wings.
Which they're doing a sequel to, Chicken Run.
They are.
And that had the best Burger King figures too.
Isn't Chicken Run like Wallace and Gromit people?
Yeah, it's the same people that done
No.
Wallace and Gromit movies and Shaun the Sheep.
Best Burger King toys was the Wild Thornberries. It was a 19th set, and they all connected. It was a giant fucking zip line.
Oh, they did that with Peter Pan at McDonald's.
Julian's line, the best Burger King toys he ever had were the Color Rangers.
No, I
Power
know,
Rangers,
I know
Ranger
his,
Power.
I
Ranger
know,
Powers.
I know that the best burger or the best McDonald's toys Julian ever had was the VHS tapes they gave out of NSYNC and Britney Spears.
Oh yeah.
And the Mighty
Little
Mighty
Not
Kids
gonna
toys.
lie, I collected the Baby Baby McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
toys.
That was a big deal.
Those are worth
Well,
a lot of money now.
that's true. That it felt like Disney at that point was chasing Pixar because they did Chicken Little, they did Meet the Robinsons, and I don't think they nailed it until about Tangled. Tangled was. I mean,
What
that's
about
like
Cars?
what 2010.
Tangled.
Cars is also Pixar, so that I
Bro, I
want to say
love
around
Cars.
2010 is when they really started to go. Okay, we can do something that similar to what they're doing.
Right.
Then they
And-
do Wreck-It Ralph and Frozen.
Right, and they really brought it back to Disney animations, and now they're killing it, right? Because they have Encanto that just came out. Raya.
Now I can't tell the difference when it's like, oh, is it Pixar or is it Disney? Because both of them are putting out quality movies.
Oh, Disney did Mars Needs Moms. I don't think that's Pixar. I think that's Disney.
That is
That sounds
Disney.
right,
That
yeah.
is.
Mars
They
Needs
did do
Moms.
that one. Yeah.
And Disney
I haven't
also
seen that movie
did
in a long
Big
time.
Hero 6, which I like.
Big Hero
Oh,
6
Big
is
Hero 6
awesome.
is good.
We could shout out The Incredibles. I feel like nobody's mentioned The Incredibles. That's one of my favorite superhero
Pixar.
films ever. Again, it's hard to say the obvious ones because I feel like it's the ones that everybody
So-
knows. Like we
So I
don't
mean,
have
we
to
can't
justify
talk
them
about
for sure.
Disney though, and not talk about the princesses.
We have to talk about. The
We have to
princesses.
talk about the princesses.
Who's the baddest princess of them all?
The baddest, like the
Jasmine.
worst,
The baddest, as in
Like she's
the
a
best.
baddie?
the best.
Jasmine. Jasmine.
Who's the baddie?
Jasmine.
Who's
Who's
the baddie?
dumb thick?
Y'all ain't listening to me. I'm
Well,
saying
we're
Jasmine.
talking about like original like princesses.
Any of them. Any of the real princesses. You could throw them in there.
Princess Leia.
She doesn't count.
She does not count.
I was gonna say a dark joke, but never mind.
Jasmine.
Princess Jasmine's a great choice.
I was Jasmine.
Gabe said something that Snow White's the ugliest one.
Snow White's
Snow
the
White.
ugliest
I
one.
said Snow White's the ugliest one
Damn. Explain.
because it's the.
You know, I like
She's the
Cinderella.
It's just
Cinderella.
She's the youngest.
I
Cinderella's
also think-
humble. She's
listen,
from the streets.
This is a hot take
Who?
again.
Cinderella?
Yeah, she's from the streets. She had to work hard in order to get up there. Call me Daddy 187. Oh, I thought that was a fake account.
Says
I almost
Juju.
blocked it.
I'm here.
That's Isaiah.
I got here. Did y'all talk about Beauty and the Beast? We did not talk about Beauty and the Beast. Belle is my favorite princess. That's my sister.
Belle is the best.
Ariel is my favorite princess.
Get that underwater.
The-
Is she anatomically correct?
Get them
Yeah,
legs.
yeah.
no, I mean I think it's between like I think it's like between Belle and Ariel as far as like my favorite
Belle is
princesses.
Jessica's favorite.
I just think for the time frame, Belle made it okay to be like a smart girl, right? Like not to be boy crazy and not be like, looking for whatever. But at the same time, I taught girls that like it's okay to be with somebody that kidnaps you. So like,
Stockholm syndrome.
right? Stockholm
Disney is
syndrome.
all about
It's
Stockholm
okay.
syndrome.
But
Bestiality's okay.
Yeah, bestiality is also pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's okay to be in love with a hairy man.
right. No, but Beauty and
Well,
the
Jasmine's
Beast
my
is
favorite.
Belle be just like between Belle and Ariel. I also like, Ariel because she's a little bit dumb, obviously, for like human form, and like she's like learning. She's like a newborn baby in a sense, and she has that red hair. I have a thing for redheads.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
That's not just had red hair, and then I thought she was naturally redheaded, and then they're like, oh no, I got Betty blonde hair.
Yeah, no.
Got me.
I thought Jessica was a redhead.
Well, who's your pick for the baddest of them?
I gotta go with Jasmine.
Period.
She is
She's
the Sultan's daughter. She's the baddest of them all.
She's also one that doesn't take no shit.
Everybody else had to get married to like get some power. She already fucking.
That's
had
the
power.
point my parents made.
already
She was
had the
already a
power.
princess.
She did have the
She
power.
was an actual princess.
She's like one
So
of the
was
only princesses-
Ariel.
Okay, so her and Ariel are like the only two that are
Snow
princesses
White
from the
was too.
start.
She was the fairest of them all.
Snow
yeah,
White
she was.
Snow White was the fairest of them all.
Well, okay, but hear me out though. Snow White is like because I watched Snow White. It is like the most boring.
We watched it too.
I think it's like
so
so boring. I think the story is
The
boring.
ride is fun.
I love Snow White. I feel like
Listen, I think the best part of it are the dwarves when they're like washing themselves. The songs, Dopey is like the
I
best.
think what really sets it back is the timing that it came out. in.
1937.
Yeah, I feel like they're still getting their bearings under them.
Well, it's
and
their
whatnot.
first animated film. It's
Yeah.
Disney's first animated film that he's ever done. Besides like Mickey, Willy Boat Mickey or whatever.
Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie.
So
Mickey Boat Willie.
Mickey Boat Willie.
Whatever.
It's the alternate
Mickey
title.
Boat Willie
It's
is
the
the
working
alternate
title.
title.
It's a working title.
It's the working.
But yeah, I don't know. I just have an issue with Snow White, and I watched it, and I was like, no, I got
Jessica also says Merida from Brave.
Oh shit.
Another redhead.
Yeah, another redhead.
another redhead,
Oh, that curly redhead.
but she's like,
Okay.
Yeah, she's like a child.
She's like a child.
You can't really get.
You
yeah.
can't-
Was
you
it
can't
Ariel
really-
as well?
I can't get through the accent.
The Scottish accent.
The accent.
That was not Scottish.
You're not Scottish at all.
Scottish accent.
Yeah, no, I think
Isn't
those are
Ariel
all-
young too?
Damn.
I think
I
they're
guess
all
not, she gets
children.
married.
These are all children.
I think
We're
Ariel-
talking about
children.
I think Arrow's like 16 on the borderline.
in New York, it's legal. So
In
it's
certain states,
Oh,
16
man.
is legal.
like
Illinois is 17.
Snow White, Sleeping Beauty.
I like Sleeping Beauty more than Snow
She'd be
White.
sleeping.
Yeah, but they needed a kiss from a man.
Just grow
So,
up.
Yeah, grow the fuck up. But-
Yeah.
You know another one I really like. Should not. It falls under that same sort of time period from the 30s through 50s. I want to say of Disney. The original Alice in Wonderland, I think, has some really cool animation,
Oh, yeah.
some great ideas. That's why I
Isn't that like
rewatched
an
lately.
emo classic as well for like emo kids?
Probably.
Probably the
because
Tim
of-
Burton one.
Like the Cheshire Cat.
Going
and
down
all
the
that.
rabbit hole and
Going down the
stuff.
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I mean, that book is really trippy. I mean, it's like the writer was on LSD the entire time.
Probably was. Probably met all these fucking characters that he wrote about in his trips.
I want to like eat some shrooms and just watch Alice in Wonderland. Some neon lights.
But yeah, so I guess Jasmine's the winner. Jasmine's the baddest princess. So she's a baddie. She's the
Maybe
princess
actually
baddie.
too Tiana from Princess and the Frog.
We didn't talk
We
about
didn't talk about her.
Princess
That's a
Diana.
good
Frog.
movie.
That
That's
is
a
a
movie
really-
that's underrated.
And that's a movie that the girl was like, Tiana was like, I don't need no man.
She was like the last
I'm gonna do
princess
my own
in a long
thing.
Oh,
time.
yeah.
She got
Like,
attitude.
You know, I'm gonna do my own
Oh.
restaurant. I don't need a prince. Like she saved her money.
That's New Orleans.
Weren't you
New
saying she was like
Orleans.
the last like animated princess in that style?
She is the last animated princess, the 2D animated princess. See, that was the movie that they were making for years after the failure of Treasure Planet. Was The Princess and the Frog? That was their
Oh, really?
last hurrah, and then they just all right, we're done with 2D animation. It's done. Actually, no, there was this one, and then they did the one. Have you guys seen the 2011 Winnie the Pooh?
Yes.
That one's really good.
Winnie the Who?
Winnie the Pooh 2011.
What, that,
They didn't win
It's like an
it.
hour-
It was animated.
Pocahontas.
It was
It's animated,
animated.
the animated version.
Not Christopher Robin.
Yeah,
with,
have you not seen this?
Ewan
I
McGregor.
don't think so.
It's really it's on Disney Plus.
It's on
right
your
now.
list.
It,
I
it was
have-
in theaters too.
I have Winnie the Pooh, The Search for Christopher Robin,
Which
which is the
Winnie
best.
he said that.
Which is the best.
So I have an
Search for
issue
Christopher
though
Robin.
with Pocahontas is that the story that Disney gives is not the story
Not
that's
accurate.
like not accurate.
What do you want them to do? The accurate story?
Yeah.
true.
That's
Tell the
that's a
truth.
that's a
They got-
dark ass story.
they
So
got-
tell the truth.
It was
They
the
got-
night at the museum.
They got all these kids growing up thinking Pocahontas was like
With John Smith and with
With
Mel
John Smith,
Gibson,
yeah.
whatever,
Mel Gibson.
blonde haired,
but
John
in real
Smith.
life, John Smith
And
was
real-
bad, raped Pocahontas.
This cannot be in a G-rated film. These are not things that you can put in
Like,
there.
You know, in real life, Pocahontas got with this short, chubby guy.
So you want there to be justice for the short, chubby kings of the world?
And
Yes.
there was no Lewis and Clark in Pocahontas.
Jessica saying you guys should talk about
We're talking about
favorite
Sacagawea.
villains.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
favorite
shit.
villains.
Wrong Native American woman. That's Sacagawea
Well,
with Lewis
so-
and Clark.
What they said? Someone said that in the
Sacagawea?
museum. Sacagawea.
Sacagawea?
Hermes is my favorite villain. James Woods is great.
James is great.
He's one of the best villains. One of my favorites.
But Maleficent
What's that?
is one of the best ones.
Hermes from Hercules.
Oh,
The
Yeah.
blue guy.
favorite villain.
One of my
Maleficent.
favorites. Yeah,
Huh.
Maleficent's great.
I like Jafar.
Jafar is
Jafar's
also
got to be on
great.
there. Scar.
He's a baddie.
Scar
too.
might be the top dog. Scar's the one that everybody.
Not
talks
really,
about.
Long
because
live the king.
freaking
Long
Hercules
live
is
the
wearing
king.
Scar.
Scar.
I was gonna bring that up in
Oh,
today.
yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. 'Cause,
I said so much about Hercules. I'm like, this is the Lion King.
yeah, Hercules is.
I'm pausing. I told Jess, I was like, hey, he's wearing Scar. She's like, what?
Oh yeah.
Hercules
yeah.
is some of my favorite voice acting in any of the Disney.
James
movies.
Wood is really good.
James Wood, Danny DeVito just playing Danny DeVito.
Oh
He's
my
awesome
God.
as Phil. Yeah, no, I love that movie. It's
But
one of the
Scar
best
said,
villains.
"Evil dies tonight," and killed Mufasa.
Let's
I can't
see.
pick favorite villain. I don't know.
It's tough. They have a ton of good villains. In these
I like
movies.
Randall from
Cruella de
Monsters
Vil.
Inc. Pretty
Don't
good.
forget Syndrome.
Syndrome. Oh,
From Incredibles.
The Incredibles.
I said Sinbad for a second.
Sinbad, the genie movie with Sinbad that nobody's ever
You
seen.
know, Pixar though, it always has really great voice actors, and always
Yeah.
bring in like the celebrities.
They do.
Tim Allen and Tom Hanks,
Yeah.
Who plays Sully again?
John Goodman.
John Goodman.
John Goodman.
Goodman.
And Billy Crystal.
Billy
Crystal.
Steve Buscemi.
Stu Buscemi, and then you have
Oh, what's her face?
You know,
Jennifer
there
Tilly.
was-
Jennifer Tilly's
there was a-
monster
Jennifer
too.
Tilly.
Like those years when like Disney picked all these like R-rated comedians to voice act.
Yeah.
and
what's
then you have Julian's favorite comedian and Larry the Cable Guy playing Tomater or whatever.
Mater.
Mater.
Yeah.
The Cable Guy.
Guy.
Oh, Mater. Cars is good. Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah, David Spade playing Cusco. And
Pocahontas isn't even really her name. Her real name, I believe, was Pocahontas not her name in real life? I think that's what Jessica's saying. Yeah.
I think it was Pocahontas. I always know her as Pocahontas.
I'm going through the list. I don't know. There's that. I feel like we covered all the ones I want to cover.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many Disney movies.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't have all the time. I feel like after this, I'm still going to continue my Disney marathon because we just went down that rabbit hole all week of just watching
Right.
constant Disney content. Like I watched 4 yesterday. I watched 3 the day before. We were like really just sitting here marathoning all
Well,
these
they're easy to
movies.
watch because they're not
They're
very
easy to
long.
watch. They kind
Yeah,
of
they're
just,
like 90-minute movies. They're like you could just pop it in an hour and a half. And
And you don't
you're
have to
good.
worry about anything. There's nothing super depressing in any of these
Nothing.
movies.
I
Depends.
Depends on what you watch.
Inside
It's
Out.
like Bambi or something.
Oh my God, Bambi.
Bambi. We
Bambi.
didn't
We didn't even cover Bambi.
Oh man, I made
Cover
a,
Bambi.
when I first like had venison, I made a joke that it was Bambi's mom. Bambi's mom. No, the earliest, like one of the oldest Disney Channel like movies that I cried in was The Fox and the Hound,
Oh my God.
because it's so upsetting how.
Don't tell me you haven't seen The Fox and the Hound.
You know, have you seen
No, I've seen the Fox.
Okay,
I'm
the way-
sorry, I'm
the way
reading
you-
the comment.
No, the
on
way
thing.
you paused, I was like, oh my God, don't say it. In Fox and the Hound, when she turns around after leaving him behind and he's just sitting in the woods.
Oh shit! Yeah, Jessica just told you. You said Hermes. Don't you mean Hades?
Oh, Hermes was the, yeah. I'm looking it up. Hermes
Hermes
was
is
the
Rudolph.
other. No, Hermes was the other character, the love one. Yeah, Hades. My bad. I was thinking about it when I said it to you. I was like, I'm not
Did
really sure if I got
anybody,
it.
you guys watch the Aristocrats?
Yo,
Aristocats?
I love Aristocats.
I had.
Yeah, Jessica's right. It is the, I was looking at like it's
Everybody wants to be
the
a
God of
cat.
Love is the.
That's a good one.
It's good in that.
Aristocats is like really short too. That's a good one.
Yeah, Aristocrats. It's good.
Brother Bear.
We were gonna watch it. I was
Y'all
gonna
be
watch it.
making
I
me
haven't seen
cry.
it.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it before.
Brother
So
Bear
what I
is so
really
good.
It's also a good soundtrack for a movie.
Phil Collins again, isn't it? Didn't Phil Collins also do
I
Brother
think
Bear?
it is.
so
He could be Ghost
when I
Rider.
was looking at movies I wanted to watch, I
Yes.
wanted to watch
Look
one
it
of the ones from my childhood, but Disney Plus did not have it, which is A Brave Little Toaster. They have the sequel.
Disney Plus is on it.
They
No,
have.
the
I
sequel.
told her that they have.
They
don't
have the
original.
sequel
but
and they have the
sequels.
third one,
Yeah.
but they don't have the original
Original.
Brave Little Toaster. And I love that movie. I wanted to show
Yeah.
Jess the Brave Little Toaster. It came out in like '87. I was like, 4.
Yeah, they don't have that on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
They
I
don't
had
have
to
the
watch
sequels.
clips on YouTube of it. I couldn't watch.
Phil
The
Collins
vacuum
definitely did Brother
cleaner?
Bear.
Like really scared me when I was
That
that
movie's a
age.
journey, man.
It
is a journey.
The movie's fun. It's really good.
Did you see Brother Bear?
I have seen Brother Bear. So
That's definitely Phil Collins, I think.
yeah, I've seen Brother Bear. It's the last performance by Rick Moranis too.
Really?
Brother Bear.
Rick Moranis.
He plays the moose in that
Loose.
They're Canadian.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure.
movie. Yeah, Rick Moranis was the last role he ever had was voice acting.
Don't all
in Brother Bear.
Canadians know all Canadians?
Always, we're all friends.
I don't know. Like we're trying to think. Monsters Inc. is great. We mentioned that.
Aladdin,
Aladdin.
I
We
kinda
touched
touched
on a
on
little bit
Aladdin.
with Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Um,
He's
I
the
have,
first Disney prince.
I have 101 Dalmatians.
Oh,
That was on my
yeah.
list too, and that's one I enjoyed immensely. I love 101
I'm gonna go through it
Dalmatians.
right
Cruella?
Lady,
now. Oh shit, no, I can't.
Lady in the Tramp.
I do not. I have not seen the new Emma Stone.
It's alright.
I haven't seen it. I know her mom has it from a dog or whatever.
Do you watch the live action Lady in the Tramp?
I did not.
I
I
watched
did
it
not
with
see
your
that.
mom.
I did not see it.
It's good. It's cute. It's like dogs. Whatever.
Atlantis, I touched on, and I think we'll just wrap it up. Coming up here because we're coming up on 100 minutes,
Longest Texas
which would
Chainsaw.
be the longest episode ever. I just wanted to touch real quick. Atlantis is an underrated one. Not one of the best, but on the rewatch, I really had fun with it and didn't realize and don't remember how dark it is. Like it's this Pulp Fiction action movie about
How great was Michael J. Fox?
Michael J. Fox is awesome as always. The whole voice cast is great in that, and there's real action, there's real violence and death, and it's kind of reminded me of Avatar a little bit too.
You know what? You know what? We didn't talk about Disney princesses though, but that Atlantean girl, she was crazy.
Yeah,
She might be the baddest of them all.
She probably
Oh,
would
we
be.
didn't- Road to El Dorado.
Is that a Disney movie
Disney?
or is it Fox?
It's Fox.
Is it Fox?
I guess it falls under Disney now. I think it might be DreamWorks. I think it might be DreamWorks
DreamWorks.
Animation.
I mean, because now Ice Age belongs to Disney.
Yeah.
So now Ice Age are Disney movies, and they're doing a new Ice Age. So now it's going to be a branded Disney Ice Age.
Oh, I'm so mad when Disney does that. Like the Clone Wars TV show, they, Cartoon Network made all like 6 seasons, and then Disney made, the last 7th season, and says, Disney original. Like, you motherfuckers.
They
lying.
You motherfuckers.
But I don't know. I think that'll do it. I think we covered like so many. Like this was a big episode. We got through a lot. I don't know. It's up to you guys. Should we wrap it up here?
I hope the new Disney Ice Age is good. So do I. I know you wanted to wrap it up, but I just gotta say,
No, we
Ice Age is a great movie. I think I like Ice Age more than Toy Story, and I feel like they came out in the same like era. But like the whole dynamic between like the woolly mammoth, the saber-toothed tiger, and the sloth, which the sloth is by far one of my favorite characters in animation. He's like hilarious. Sid. Oh man. Anyways, also it's Johnny Legs plays Sid. Automatically, he's like gonna be my favorite animated character.
Everybody loves Raymond. Everybody loves Raymond.
Yeah, I guess I didn't know these.
But I
movies were
am
loved.
excited for the new Disney Ice Age.
Yeah, no, okay.
And they're bringing back the original cast. Johnny Legs coming back, and they start off every movie with that little freaking squirrel like trying to get its nut. It's like a metaphor for every guy, right? Because every guy's trying to get their nut.
I think that's gonna do it. I think we can wrap it up here.
Wrap it up with guys trying to get.
Now
their
we
nut.
wrapped up this good episode and tarnished it with Ice Age talk, but that's fine. Everybody likes what they like. I think that'll do it. We went through our favorite movies, our animated moments, and things that meant a lot to us growing up, and even things now you guys mentioned in Kanto and Coco, which are new classics that we apparently got to catch up on.
Watch it. Coco is a classic.
So I think we'll do that, and we'll see where we go next episode. Not entirely sure. We haven't picked the topic, but we're going to come up on something that's going to be really cool and exciting. So that'll do it for me and Gabe. Thank Julian for coming on here with his list. He had a whole list of
like
100 films he wrote down.
He's still old school. Like we all have cell phones, like with our list. This guy is like busting out
He's got
old
a
school
notebook. He's got a notebook.
I'm surprised you don't have like hearts drawn on this. I'm like your first name and
that's the diary.
And Jessica.
That's the diary. That's the journal.
It's the journal.
Guys keep journals.
Diary would be good.
And then Victoria came on and brought on a lot of stories about Tarzan and Lion King.
Tarzan.
So it was a fun episode. I'm glad that we got to talk about these. So from me, Gabe, everybody at the show, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know.
Road to 500.
Let us know what you want us to talk about next week. I know we have the Batman episode coming up soon. Very exciting things for the channel. Road for 500. We'll see you guys next time. I just hit my phone, which lets me know we should end this broadcast. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. Adios.